Great Fridays, we back. We back again and again and again and again. We got Alante, trucking insurance expert. Follow on Instagram. We got CDL Shorty, AD Jackson 28. Follow him on Instagram. Got myself, just the guy behind the scenes, low key, Mr. Marcus Lucas.
Man with the power.
I'm just trying
the
to.
man, the myth, the legend.
I'm just the point guard. I'm just passing it off. You know what I'm
John
saying?
Stockton, okay.
I run the plays. One up, throw it down low. All right.
Okay.
But this week we're gonna talk about why truckers go broke. Why do they go broke, and how they can build wealth. Okay. Before we get into that, real quick, we're gonna talk about this little weekly report because we want y'all to stay informed. And this is one of the reasons why how y'all can avoid being broke is by knowing what you need to know as far as the industry, what's going on right now. So real quick, weekly report. National average for gas is $3.57 a gallon. East Coast is $3.62 a gallon. Midwest is $3.54 a gallon. California, which is where I'm from, $4.78 a gallon. It's the highest in the nation. Gotta love it. Gotta love California trucking.
Diesel, baby.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Now we're gonna compare the diesel prices to these load to truck ratios. Drive-in is 6.6 loads per truck. Reefer is 13.9 loads per truck. Flatbeds cracking 23.5 loads per truck. So if you in the game right now, you flatbed, you eating. Name your number. Name your number because there's so many loads and they got to get moved. Then we're gonna go about the spot rates. Drive-in spot rates is about $2.08 a mile. So it's a slight weekly dip. You got the reefer is $2.34 a mile, and then you got flatbed again $2.58 a mile. Okay, so these are just some numbers that you guys should know. This is the weekly recap. Know your numbers. So now let's get into it. CDL. Why are truck drivers broke? What is your quick opinion? While we get to all these topics, but why are they broke? Why are they broke?
First of all, my before I get into my opinion, I just want to say thank you to you guys. The gratitude. I love you guys. We're a brotherhood, and I appreciate everything you guys provide to the trucking industry and the trucking community. So that's first and foremost. Then secondly, man, you know what? I think it comes down to a lot of truckers, including myself, being uneducated out there. Stocks and bonds. I'm not an expert in it. I'm actually learning it right now as we speak myself. But you have to, know what kind of stocks to invest in. It's all about investing your money properly. There's a famous economist that I like to listen to, Richard Wolff, and he talks about the stock market and tariffs, why every time the tariffs come into play, the stock market dips. So you have to know things of that nature. You can definitely follow, talk about capitalism or whatnot. Man, there's a lot of things, but it basically comes down to know your cost per mile. Number one, negotiate the rates. Like when we first came out and we talked about, or you talked about, the rates for the flatbeds and drive vans and reefers and things of that nature. Know the rates, know your cost per mile. Save, stop messing with these lot lizards out here. But then also keep you a P&L, go to Microsoft Excel, keep you a profit and loss spreadsheet, get you one of those and keep you one of those. So that way, you know exactly where your numbers are, what you're spending your money on, as far as the truck maintenance and stuff like that. And as far as your leisure spending as well. So that's just my little quick opinion.
What you think, Alante, the big trucking insurance man?
I see so many people getting in the industry, unprepared, and they don't know their controllables. Whether it's getting in the industry and you getting into it and you don't know exactly what you are going to be hauling, that's going to go show your uncontrollables. I see too many people come to me for insurance, and I ask them, I say, "Hey, man, what you going to be hauling?" They don't know. Well, I got a dispatcher. How can you adequately make a plan to make money in this industry if you don't even know when you're getting it, what you're going to haul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's important. I think being able to pivot. All the good truck drivers I know on my side, they know how to pivot, man. They be in drive-in one month or two, then boom, they doing reefer,
True.
Then boom, they over here, they got their hazmat straight. They be hauling tankers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the inability to pivot in pivotal times can hinder you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Definitely when, if I really get back out there and really do some stomp down trucking, as my man Big Gip would say on YouTube, um, man, I think my next trailer would be a reefer unit, because a reefer is multi. You can pull dry van with reefer. Now those walls just are a little bit more thicker, and that trailer is a little bit more heavier because it has that reefer power unit. Yeah, the installation and the power unit on the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you still can haul some dry van in it too. And then if you want to pivot and go to reefer, guess what? You got that one trailer that does two things in one. So it's about being smart out there as well.
And I'll hop onto that point too, as far as like you said, being able to pivot, and also too, not just falling into one lane. A lot of drivers go broke because they stay in one lane, right? I'm just gonna do driving. To your point, like how you saying reefer, I would look into getting Conestogas, because I was looking at that. And I was talking a lot about that on my Instagram, and a lot of guys forgot about Conestogas. I'm like, Conestogas, you can still do some dry van freight with a Conestoga.
Yeah.
And you can do flatbed. You can do both. I feel like
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, to make money in this industry, you got to be able to pivot. You got to be a Swiss Army knife. Okay.
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife mean you got to have something to be able to do multiple things. Okay.
Right.
Or if you're an owner operator, have multiple types of trailers. See, I was telling a lot of people, a lot of drivers, like, in order to not go broke, you need to have multiple trailers so you can do multiple things. So whether that's either having a dry van and a flatbed, or a flatbed and a reefer, have two things before you get that next truck. I think drivers and truckers, you quick to scale, and that's the reason why you go broke, because you're scaling so fast in the trucks, but you're not thinking about your equipment. You're not thinking about, if this dry van lane go down and this flatbed cracking, how can I easily get into the flatbed if I don't have a flatbed?
Right.
That's one of the things like that. And I think also too, Alante made this point earlier, talking about the trucks. They fall into love with the trucks, right? Tell us a little bit what you think about that, Alante, what we said about the trucks and how that can make drivers go broke.
I want to go back to my first point, a story of mine. And I started in the beginning. I worked for a company for a while, and I got my first truck about a year later. And at the time, trucks were incredibly cheap. I bought a 2012 Cascadia that was already deleted for like $17K. I didn't pay for it cash. I paid for like a down payment and stuff, and my truck was only $900 a month.
Okay.
That was my truck note. And in addition to that, my insurance was like $2,000 at the time, and my house was $1,000. My rent, my car was like another $500. So total, I paid about $4,500 for everything, $5,000.
Right.
Okay, I knew there was a base price because my truck was so cheap that I can make $5,000 in a week. Right. So when I got in the game, I got my authority. I took out running. When I finally got my authority, that's a whole nother story. I was making $4,000 or $5,000 a week net.
Correct.
So I would pay all my bills in 1 week, and I have 3 weeks of profit. But if I would have had a $1,500 note per week, I could have never. I don't have that window of vacancy of something fucking up to where I can have things don't be so tight.
Right.
So I think that's important. You got to pick a cheap, fundamental truck. In addition to that, when you buy trucks cheap and you going into a good market, you have an asset that in that now good market you can sell and make profit off of. That's what all the old truckers did during COVID. They offloaded their old trucks that were now raised up in price for astronomical numbers. You gotta get into market cheap.
Supply and demand.
Now, to capitalize off what you just said, first of all, let's give a hand clap for you find a truck that was deleted, baby. That was deleted.
What?
That was deleted.
That wouldn't work out here in Cali. Hey, mess with them deleted trucks out here. You get stopped at the border.
But on a serious note, though, no, you're right about that. Know your equipment. Me and Mr. Winston, you guys know him as ENY's Finest on Instagram. We make a habit of trying to talk to each other either weekly or bi-weekly. And the conversation just yesterday morning, I was talking to him on my way to work, and he brought up the point of, coming into the game with pay for equipment. So if you got paid for equipment coming into the game, you're basically winning out there. But also with pay for equipment, sometimes it's going to be older and stuff like that. So you have to know what to look for with the specifications, how to spec your truck out. A lot of people talk about the miles, but let's talk about the engine hours. Let's talk about the gear ratio with the differential. Things of that nature. If it's old, obviously it's used. Sometimes it may come with a maintenance report. Sometimes it may not. So you may need to get the differential checked out to see if it's out of torque or in torque, whatnot. See what the gear ratio is, things of that nature. And who knows, you might have to dump 6,000, 7,000 in it. But if you got paid for equipment, you can run 2, 3 months hard, 4 months hard, and guess what? Make that $7,000 back. And then the rest is just working capital. And you got to learn how to put back. And also, don't let any factoring companies out there take advantage of you. If you're out there paying 5%, that's too high. It should be I say between 2 to maybe 3%. 3.5 is a little high. If you find something that's 2 or less, you winning. Stay with them.
Yeah, mine was 2. When I had my factor in, it was 2%. 2%.
That's good.
It was
That's
solid,
good. And a lot of people need to know about non-recourse and recourse factoring. Man, I actually talked to this one female trucker that got, because she didn't know the difference, and they was actually getting her on the recourse and non-recourse. So a lot of people need to educate themselves on that. And that's also a way how you can save money too, because let's say if a broker defaults on that, guess what? They're coming back to you. Correct. That's what recourse and non-recourse basically means. So that's another way truckers can save money as well. Educate yourself. And right quick, fellas, I got a special announcement. So we always talking about trucks and stuff like that, and how to educate and pivot, and things of that nature, and be multi-verse within this industry. And I think in order for truckers to really save their money, know what's going on, we have to have a seat at the table. We can't just be truckers. We got to get out that truck and actually make some business moves and stuff behind the scenes. And one of my things is I got a major announcement right here, and I want a lot of truckers to follow my lead, follow my path, get out that truck, because guess what? SNHU just accepted me to go into the business, a bachelor's degree of logistics and transport management. Right here is my acceptance.
Wow.
So I'm getting out the truck and I'm going back to school. But look, not only am I getting out the truck, I'm still going to be inside the truck taking online courses. So trust me, it's going to take me about 2, maybe 4 years, because these are all the courses that I'm going to be taking right here. But guess what? You can still truck, and then when you shut it down 3, 4 o'clock in the evening, truckers, guess what? Go take you a shower, get you something to eat, get back in that truck, in that sleeper, set your laptop up, and go to school for a while.
I think that's,
and then higher education.
I think one of the things with that, like when you talk about, especially with money and truckers, it's investing in your future. There's multiple ways you can invest in your future. And whether that's taking courses and learning the industry to be able to one day get out that truck, but still be in trucking and get a different type of career. Or that's just in your future by actually investing your money and putting your money into certain type of things. Alante talks about it all the time. FIAs, annuities, IULs, IRAs, stocks and bonds. Put money into something to where later on in life you're not broke. The biggest thing with truckers is they make the money and they spend the money. That's what it is.
Yes.
They think the money going to keep coming. We all speaking from experience. It's not like we perfect. We never done it, but it happens. The money comes in so smooth and so good. You like, it's going to keep coming in. But one thing about the trucking is it's a market that's always up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's very important for us to invest in our futures, whether that's taking courses and learning the industry from the outside so you can be able to be in the office and do freight, and even putting up a couple $100 a month, just putting it into certain retirement plans to be able to have money for when you're done. Trucking is the best when you don't depend on the money.
Yes.
I had my best times in trucking when I didn't need the money, because I had things set up. I had my money moving in this. I had other things going on. I wasn't solely dependent on trucking. Trucking is a stepping stone. Trucking is a gateway to be able to do something. You can make a lot of money in trucking. I've seen this report right here. The average owner operator gross $252,000 a year. That's gross, but their net income falls below 30 grand. It's,
Yes.
one is because of rising costs and not knowing your costs, and two is through spending, frivolous spending. You're spending
Yeah.
money on stuff you shouldn't be spending money on. So
Right.
that's what it is. Let's just stop spending money on stuff and then going to the truck stops and spending all that money. That's a whole nother thing. But
Right.
you can really use trucking as a stepping stone to set up your career and set up your family if you do it smart, if you actually go out there and work.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think oh, my bad. Go ahead, Alante.
No, you know, I realized a long time ago, I would see people who do group funding and they would invest into a trucking company. And there'd be several people. And the trucking company, in sense, has so thin margins, they maybe not made profit on paper. And I'm like, why would they invest in that? And they'd be a group of friends that create a foundation where they invest. And what happens is they'll get all that money in the pot, they'll invest in a trucking company. Let's say it's a big one going out of business. Let's say it's $1 million trucking company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they keep it running. They keep all terminal running. It's still running at a deficit. But what people don't understand, like, how can they still make money off this? They would skim money off top. So the management get fees off top.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Same thing like a club. Same thing. The management gets fees off top, and then it trickles down to the all the way down to the employees. But first, it goes equipment and fuel and stuff.
Right.
But I would say this, from what I've experienced, is too many truckers out there who get bad health, who get in the game too long, who stay in the game too long, and they never adequately spent their money into an avenue to when, if they get sick when they're 60 years old or 70 years old, they can finally get their damn truck and be sick and get healed.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're going to sacrifice your body for this, at least don't go broke on the other side of it.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they also drive a lot, and they're forced longer into the game is because they are broke.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel like they got to keep working, and that's the only thing that they know. That's the reason why. If you invest your money, but also invest in your knowledge, right? You should be, like you said, I've had drivers that's been in the industry for 20, 30 years. The number one thing they tell me, and they look at me, they be like, man, I used to make a lot of money. If I would just invest in my money, I wouldn't be working for you right now. That's the common thing that older drivers say. It's because they get stuck in that loop.
Can I ask you a question, Marcus?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this is what they're gonna ask you. Because this is what they asked me in my email, in my messages and stuff. They said, "Okay, give me something directly I can invest in. I can just park my money in, and I can see a return."
The simple thing you can put your money into, you can put your money in the S&P 500. You can get an index fund. Like I said, I'm not a stock genius, but that's the simple stuff that Warren Buffett talks about.
Yeah.
Put your money in the S&P 500, put it in there, put $200, $300 a month, put it in there, wait 30 years. The money's going to grow exponentially after year 15. So from year 15 to year 30, it's going to have crazy returns. So
now, what about an IRA?
You can put your money in an IRA too, because that's a traditional retirement account. You can put your money, if you want to go a step forward, some people don't like this, whatever, but life insurance, you can use life insurance as a gateway to make money. All these things work because if you look at the wealthy, they do it.
Yes.
So the wealthy do it. So you can't say it doesn't work. You can't say, well, this is a scam or this is a scam. It works, but it's all dependent on you.
Right.
Are you going to consistently put your money into it and not take money from it? Just because it's in this investment vehicle, it's not your piggy bank. That's money you put up and you don't even look at until you're 30. I ain't looking at that till I'm 60, 65. But it's up to you to consistently put your money into it. You have to pay yourself first when you're making this money. But those are simple things. Like there's complex things we can talk about, but the simple thing is get an investment account and put your money in the S&P 500.
No, I like that because my wife right now is actually trying to educate me, and I'm learning, about a S&P 500. I'm learning about an IRA. She's trying to get me to get one now. But, going back a little bit, when I was out there, I told this story to you guys previously, but when I was out there, man, I was doing nothing. And a lot of truckers do this, but I was doing nothing but buying penthouses in different cities and states. just blowing money and stuff like that. Then when
You
I
was the
had
cartel. You was part of the cartel back in the day. You was
but
moving like Sonny and them.
but then when I had my heart attack, man, and after I had my heart attack, and now post transplant, it's like, damn. Think about if I would have put my money into a S&P 500 or an investment account or annuity or something like that. I would be set up for life right now. So I think a lot of truckers, we really need to educate ourselves, but not only educate ourselves, but follow somebody
Mm-hmm.
that is in the industry, in this industry that you're trying to learn about, investment industry every day, and make sure they got a degree. Make sure they got a degree because there's too many people out here that get on this internet that guess what? They get a little bit of knowledge and they think that they got everything.
Oh, we seen that.
When no, you got to go to school because guess what? It's certain terminology and it's new terminology and new things and new limits that are changing over time. And guess what? You only learn that in school. It's only so much the internet gonna give you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that degree is important. That's
True.
why I'm going back to school because I want to up my education and I want to better myself.
Yeah.
Also the people in the office that have degrees, I want to challenge them to up their education and go get that CDL so they can better themselves. It's a two-way street, but you definitely want to educate yourself on IRAs, annuities, life insurance, things of these natures, so you can be retired with the truck sitting in your front yard with money, and you're not going broke.
Well, the biggest thing we talk about, and it's a joke, but you rather spend your money on these lot lizards, but you don't want to spend your money on your education.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about, it's not like you don't have the money. Yeah, there's some things out there. We're going to talk about a little more about outside, but factors that can affect the trucker's money. But
Yeah.
the main thing is though, where are you spending your money? You rather spend your money on them lot lizards. You rather spend your money on them lights on the truck. You rather spend money on penthouses or vacations, but you're not thinking about your future. You're thinking about now. So it's all about where you invest in the money. Truckers make money. Like I said, $252,000 a year minimum average owner operator makes.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why the net's not so high is because some of that money they taking it out and they putting on these pleasures that they want to do.
And here's the thing
now,
too.
Look, if you're a trucking company, go ahead, Alante. Go ahead.
No, well, see, and here's the thing too. We're speaking to people who are maybe drive for over the road or do OTR, but what about for the people who just got a regular job and have a CDL, which is a lot of people, right? Who clock in every day, who go home every day, who have a CDL, work that job, build that 401k up, and if you're our age, 15, 20 years down the road, and you're 55, I would transfer that money to an annuity and let that money build up 5%, 10% guaranteed funds. I can't say guaranteed funds 'cause I'm not a financial advisor yet. That's coming soon. But it can build up to when you're 65, 70, you can have $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, guaranteed for the rest of your life.
Right.
For the rest of your life.
Right.
That's important, but that's just why I feel.
So we're gonna you got go ahead, CDL. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to capitalize on that, no, you're right. It's important. And my next question was going to be for you guys, how can we educate the common company driver as well as the owner operator about 401ks? Because with these tariffs that keep coming into play after the current administration keeps putting these 90-day reprieves and blah, blah, blah. Every time, y'all found it funny that every time these tariffs come into play, the stock market plummets, which means your 401k plummets. So how can we educate? How can not only we, because we're not well versed in it, but where are some places that the company driver can go to be like, hey, this company, guess what? They offer 401k and they match. Because I know when I was out there as a company driver, and you sitting in orientation and they talking to you about this stuff, man, you just so happy to have a job and get out there on the road. You're not thinking, especially if you're young, you're not thinking about the 401k and the match. So my thing is to you guys going out to either the owner operator that's doing the independent 401k or the company driver, what are some questions that they might need to ask?
Well, they need to understand, if you are getting a 401k, it's generally good to get a 401k from your company. Right. That's the best way you can do it. Typically you're not going to get it as an owner operator because then your type of 401k would be like an IRA or something like that. You're putting money. But a 401k is good from an employer if they match. if the employer matches your contributions, whatever your contribution is from your check, if the employer matches it, that's great. But if your employer is not matching it, there's really no reason for you to do a 401k because now your money is just getting tied into something that you really don't have control over. 401ks are controlled by the financial people that's actually doing your 401k, that's in charge of your 401k, because they're choosing where they're putting your money at. So if you only are happy about a 401k if your company is matching it. They're putting money to your money. So that means if you're putting, say if your draw is $200 a month and the company's matching it, that's great. Where people make a mistake on a 401k is when they quit. As we know, trucking is high turnover. Okay, high turnover. So if you got to say you with the company that gave you a 401k, you was with them for a year and you got say $5,000. I'm just putting a number out there in your 401k. You put 2,500, they put 2,500. The biggest mistake that people make with 401ks is I don't have a job, I'm broke. What the first thing I'm gonna go to? I'm gonna go to where my money is. That's your 401k. But the thing is,
take it out early.
if you take your 401k out early, I believe it's before 59 and a half, Alante. Around 59 and a half. You're getting penalties. So that's how they win. Okay. So that's how they win. So now you taking money out, but you only getting a small portion compared to what your actual amount is. So in those type of situations, if you have your money in a 401k and you don't want to touch it, you just want to keep growing, then you transfer that into a FIA, which is a fixed index annuity. So now once you transfer into that, your money's still making money, but you don't have no penalties. All is moving from this vehicle to another vehicle.
Yeah, it's rolling over.
It's rolling over. So that's where you're good. But 401k is only good if your company's going to match it. If your company's not matching, there's no point in you putting your money in there. You might as well just have your own while you're in control and just say, I'm going to put money in the S&P 500 and that's it. There are some tools, like I said, there's a bunch of things that you can go on. Yes, you're right. Don't look at the internet every time. Do some research. There's plenty of things out there. But like I said, just look at what the rich people do.
Right.
Put their money into S&P 500 and they put their money in life insurance programs or fixed index annuities or fixed annuities. It's really simple, but it's really dependent on the person investing and just having the patience to say, I'm not going to touch this money. Even if I'm broke, down and out, I'm still not going to touch this money because this money is not for me today. It's for me in 30 years from now. Yeah.
Good. I like that. Thank you for elaborating on that because I feel like that's important, for especially company truckers. Company truckers, I feel like that's important for them to know because a lot of companies out there offer it, but we don't take advantage of it because we just don't know.
You don't know, because you're so happy, like you say, you're so happy with a job, and then you get that job and you're like, I want to keep all this money to myself.
Yeah.
If you put your money into those vehicles, those are tax deferred vehicles. So you're not getting taxed on that money until later. So that's another thing to it too. So we can go down that rabbit hole, but I just say for really simple for truckers to keep it simple to where you like, I can understand 1 and 2. I make money, put it into an S&P 500. I make money, put my money into an IUL every month. Just keep it simple. Like there's a lot of complex things that you can hear about, but I just think for truckers, you just got to keep it simple. Just I'm gonna put my money into this, and I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, gotcha.
And it's fundamental if when you talk about legacy, because I think a lot of guys, we have children and we want to live our children a certain lifestyle or just a certain situation. And partially how I got my life insurance situation set up. Whenever I go or my wife goes, it's going to be funded to a trust. The trust is going to then fund my kid life insurance. Now, every year I'm going to grow. I'm going to reevaluate my life insurance policies and add to them and tweak them a little bit. But the whole goal is that when I pass, that I'm going to leave them a substantial amount of money in an annuity program so it can just compound every year. Fully endowed annuity program so they can get a stipend each month from the trust. I don't know how much it's going to be. It could be $3,000 per child. It could be $1,000 per child. Enough for them to live.
Yeah.
So they're not so stuck in the rat race. But it's going to be contingencies. Education, building a business, being a suitable family member, all these things. But I think strategic wise, not to get out the rabbit hole, I just think that strategic wise, you guys gotta like sit down and think of like what's the next 5 years looking like versus what's today. How can I make, like, you're going to school, right?
Smart.
You're thinking about Man, Marcus tells me all the time, you're thinking about next year. And I'm the same way. You're thinking about 4 years from now. I'm thinking about when I'm 40. I'm about to be 40 in 4 years.
Yeah.
What is life going to look like when I'm 40?
Correct.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to go back to school, because first of all, yeah, I love trucking. It's in my blood. And I do want to continue to drive to the day I die. But guess what? I also see it, my whole campaign over this past year and a half is I also see the other side, the logistics part of it. And I see that, the logistics part of it don't give a damn about the trucker. And that really broke my heart right there. So I care about the trucker, because at the end of the day, nothing moves without us. And I want to get into the head of these logistics people on the logistics side, because guess what? I want to be a jack of all trades. I want to master this industry. Another way that truckers can learn how to save money, not only the profit and loss sheet and everything like that, but when you go and you do your research online and you look at, say, Truck Stop, or you look at DAT and you look at the load board and you go to the heat waves, find out where the hot spots are and the cold spots and load to truck ratio and all that. Guess what? Whenever it's in your favor on those load boards, when you look at the heat wave, guess what? That's when you have to educate yourself on broker transparency, and you have to be a good negotiator. You have to be a good negotiator. All right. And that's how you can save a lot of money. Know your cost per mile and things of that nature, and don't budge off of your cost per mile. Your cost per mile can change weekly, it can change monthly. But guess what? Go out there, do your research, and that's how a lot of truckers can save money too, because if you got good negotiating skills and you know your number and you're not going to move off your number, and you know your worth as the trucker, and guess what? Yeah, my truck is top notch. My truck is clean. PM stay up on it. I'm not going to break down on the side of the road. And guess what? That puts you in the game.
You have to, like I said, you have to be responsible.
That's right.
When you're a trucker or even owner operator, we have already talked about this with our discussion with Alante. It's a very difficult thing to do, because when you're an owner operator, you're a driver and you're the business.
Right.
So that's very hard. So if you can't be good with your own personal finances, then I don't believe you'll be good as an owner operator.
Right.
You need to know your numbers. If you don't know how your personal finances are good, if you're not spending money right, if you're not saving money, then if you can't take that and take care of yourself, how are you going to be a good owner operator? It's impossible. Because if you don't know the numbers for yourself, how are you going to be a good owner operator?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So you got to have these values and create these things with your personal income, which is like saving, putting money up every month. If you know how to do that, then you can move into an owner operator role, because now you can understand your numbers and all of this. If we talk about the cost per mile, the average cost per mile now for owner operator is $1.90 a mile.
It is. And that's high too.
And that's high as heck. So think about it. If that's $1.90 per mile is is the average cost per mile for owner operators, and you driving dry vans, that's $2.08 a mile. So you're only making 18 cents profit per mile.
That's when you need to pivot.
You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly, but that's what nothing happening. That's not what a roadside assistance car. That's not what a tire blowout. That's not with something leaking. That's if nothing happens
on a sunny day in California and everything's right.
Yeah. And all the scale houses is closed. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's like a unicorn type of day. You know.
Yeah.
So you have to understand and know the market, because that is contributing to you going broke. It's because you're making the money, but you're not thinking about the market. You're not thinking about all these things that it's going to take money from your gross income.
But who's educating truckers on business credit, though? I don't hear a lot of truckers talking about Duns and Bradstreet number and all of that. And guess what? Time is money. And if you want to save money, you want to save on your time. And a lot of truckers, especially on the operators that go, especially down in Laredo, Eagle Pass, where they got these little mom and pop warehouses and stuff that's not really set up, with dock plates and stuff like that. I made a video a couple weeks ago about, guess what? If you set up your Duns and Bradstreet, they'll send you a magazine, Uline magazine and stuff like that. And you can order your own pallet jack. You can order anything. Look, you can order your own power jack.
Right.
Electric power jack. I mean, there's a lot of things out here that you can order to, guess what, save time. And it helps your business credit when you order these things from Uline and other places. But hey, let's say if you make it to this warehouse and this dock, is jacked up and the dock plate is messed up and they don't have a pallet jack. Boom, you already come prepared as an owner operator. You got your own pallet jack and your own dock plate. Guess what? You in and out of there within 10, 20 minutes
Right.
on talking to the broker on your way to your next stop
Yep.
to get more money to put it in an IRA or whatnot.
Exactly. But one thing I say about the business credit things, I see a lot about it.
Talk to me.
This is it. I love the fact of building your business credit. That's great. But if you're not good with your personal credit, you shouldn't have business credit. Because if you're not responsible with your own personal credit, you shouldn't have business credit. That's the big thing. And I love what you're saying because it makes sense. Build your business credit. But you have to be responsible with your business credit.
I like that. I like that.
A lot of these guys out here and gals are owner operators. You build your business credit, trucking company owners, but then you're not responsible with your business credit.
I like that.
And you're jacking up your business credit and you're jacking up your own personal credit. So, but it all goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. You got to make sure you are responsible. You know what I'm saying? That everybody is selling that hustle. I'm not saying you're not selling hustle because you got a right thinking to it, but a lot of people are selling the hustle. Get business credit. Get $50,000 or $100,000 in business credit. Okay, so say you got that money. What you gonna do with it?
Yeah. Right. Because they're not telling you on the back end that guess what? Their personal credit is jacked up. And I ain't gonna lie. Exactly. When I was first out there, man, my personal credit was jacked.
Exactly.
My wife helped me clean up my credit. And also, she didn't help me clean up my credit. This is the other scam out there. The whole let me help you clean up your credit. And you go to these credit repair people and they do all kind of the way you clean up your credit out there, truckers, is guess what? Pick up the phone. I was about to say, pick up the phone, call them people, set up payment plans with them, and pay them people their money back. And that's from humbly. I'm telling the whole world this. Humbly, that's what I had to do. My wife made me get on the phone with them people, set up payment plans, and now my credit has shot up. But I did it the right way.
But that's what it is. There's no easy way to build your
pay them people.
Just pay them people. That's all it is. If you got you making the money, pay them people. Just don't be irresponsible. If you get this money and you making money, but you're not gonna pay your debts. It's different if you ain't got it. If you ain't got it, you're going through a tough time, totally different. Yeah. A lot of people that got these debts, but they get this cash coming in, they be like, I ain't gonna worry about that yet. Because next week I'm gonna get it. But then next week you don't get it.
Yeah. Now I will say this: within a lot of people don't know, but there's a lot of stuff that falls off your credit within 7 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want to also add too, people are getting to bad deals. I think that once you get into I remember my first truck I bought, my interest rate was like 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I got it so cheap, my payment was only $991 a month. Right. And on top of it, I was ready to grind hard and pay it off early. But if it was a way more expensive truck, 30% can kill you.
Hell yeah.
30% can kill you.
They taking that. People don't know. You get these trucks for high values, your truck got a tracking system on it.
That's damn near like a loan shark.
Yeah, bro. But see, that's not the only kind of people getting merchant cash advances.
Yeah.
Where there's a 100-day loan, and nobody talks about that on the internet. They prey over truckers because it's easy, and other truckers are making the money, and they're taking money daily off of you, $150, $200 a day, out your account, so you can pay them back for 100 days. It depletes you.
Yeah. There's a lot of things out there because what's the problem with truckers? They want quick cash.
Yes.
The money now. But why do you want the money now? To buy stuff that you don't need.
Right.
Really, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, you may have some bills, okay. But if you're just spending your check that you make from the money that you're making, then you wouldn't need a cash advance. It's because you spend that money on other things other than your bills. You have to be responsible. We're going to talk about the outside factors. There's a bunch of outside factors that contribute to truckers not having money.
There is.
But 50% of these 50% is you.
Yeah.
It's you. Maybe 60% is you. You know how many times that I had drivers ask me for a cash advance?
Yeah. Accountability.
After I just paid them on Friday, they would ask me on Monday for a cash advance to last them to the next paycheck.
Bro, when I was out there, I literally spent like maybe 2 months straight on just cash advances. And then I started realizing, these cash advances are eating into my check. And I'm like, hello, dummy. It's actually it's good. Yeah, they're gonna front you 200 right now, but on the back end, 200 coming out your check.
It's gonna be 250. That's what it's gonna be because they're gonna get that interest.
Right.
I did it in the beginning a little bit and I stopped doing it. But I didn't
Yeah,
do it. I didn't do it like how some of these companies do it. Some of these companies are like, oh, I'll give you a cash advance, 5%,
yeah,
10%.
bro. Do you know when I go out to these truck stops and I do my little interviews, this is a lot of things that people are not talking about now. There are a lot of truckers out there that are living off of cash advances right now, and they're a slave to the company that they're at.
Exactly. But that's not the trucker. That's not the company's fault.
That's not the company's fault. It's the trucker's fault. But guess what? The company is like, oh yeah, we got us one. He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going. He can't. You can't go nowhere.
That's right.
You can't. If you have if they say you have a driver shortage, how do you keep a driver? You keep him in debt so he can owe you money, and he can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere. I'm not going to release you to go nowhere. You can't. You owe me X, Y, and Z.
That's why I'll
give you these cash advances. No problem.
That's why I like that clip that you put out about the DAC report. A lot of people not talking about that neither because a lot of these drivers are slaves to these companies out here because they didn't hit a pole, they didn't hit a car, they had an accident. Yeah, and nobody gonna take them. So guess what? You might as well stay right here.
Exactly.
You ain't going. You can't go nowhere.
But that's what it is, man. It's like a lot of these truckers talk about being broke. There ain't no money out there. The market this, the market that. The market is okay right now. It's not the best. It's better than what it used to be. But if you look at it from, just comparing the averages from now to 10, 20 years ago, it's straight.
It's right. It's right
where it needs to be.
It's right where it needs to be, and it's right where it's at. There's a guy on YouTube named Martin the Mentor that actually talks about this. He's in box trucks. He's not in semis, but he talks about this and he says, yo, if you think about it, the market is right where it was at before COVID. It's a lot of these COVID drivers out there talking about the market ain't nothing right now.
Right. But then it's because of these people, they ain't got money and they broke.
Correct.
So you're going to complain.
Correct.
That's an interesting perspective because if the market is right where it was before COVID, it's where it needs to be. It's right where it needs to be because before COVID, I think in 2018 is when they did the ELD mandate. Mm-hmm. So a lot of truckers got out of the game. Mm-hmm. And that year, from what I hear from a lot of people, was a wonderful year. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, it was a slump. Every person in this game know that this is a cyclical industry. It goes up 1 year, 2-3 years, and they go down. And then it goes up again and goes down. So I think, how do we mitigate the hard times? How do we already plan for the hard times to when the hard times come? And I know some people who do. I know people who get a whole bunch of trailers. So when the hard times come, they just bring their trailers out.
You know what? I love it though because I got into the game summer of 2015. This was before trucking really became popular, right? Mm-hmm. The people that are getting out the game now, I love it, and not to be mean or anything, but it wasn't meant for you. You was looking at it as a get rich quick scheme, so that's why you can't survive right now,
right?
So I love it. I love it. I love that people are getting out. I don't love the whole English proficiency thing that we talked about last week. But as far as people getting out and pivoting and saying, I even saw a couple people on social media talking about God said that this is my season to pivot and all this. No, you wasn't meant to be in this anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, you need to pivot and get out. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Some people are meant to get their CDL so they can go get a good job. Mm-hmm. It's okay. We're not all meant to be bosses. Like, that's fine, bro.
Right. And that term boss was thrown around so loosely during the pandemic where everybody thought that they could be a boss. But guess what? Sometimes when are we going to make it popular to just stay afloat?
Yeah.
Like to just stay afloat. Like when is that going to become popular? Why does everything got to be materialistic? I seen a guy the other day say that, guess what? He followed and bought somebody's course. And y'all know I'm against that, but he said he brought somebody's course because he was successful. And I said, well, how do you determine or measure somebody's success? Oh, he had a nice house, nice car. He taking trips all around the world. And this isn't the guy who I hate. This is another guy.
Right.
This isn't the main guy y'all know that I hate. This is another guy. And I'm like, and I'm talking to this young gentleman that followed this guy, and I'm like, yo, like that's what That's what success is to you. That's what. So this person got a nice car. He taking trips, and he got a nice house, and that's what success. That's how you
That's
measure success nowadays.
Right.
that's
If
on
that's how
social
you measure,
media.
if that's what I was about to say. If that's how you measure success nowadays, we're in a world of trouble.
Right. That's definitely
Good point.
trucking is not a get rich quick scheme. We already talk about that. But if you are in trucking, you are going to make a lot of money. But you don't want to become a pass through. See,
Right,
a lot of people become a pass through in this industry.
right,
With even if you're a trucker, just a company owner, or a company driver or owner operator, don't become a pass through. A pass through means you make the money, it just passes through you and goes to the people you owe.
right.
You don't want to do that. You want it to pass to you and you decide where that money goes.
Yes.
But a lot of people get into this industry, they're good in the first couple of months, but then they think the good's gonna stay the good, but then next you know they become a pass through. So
Mhm.
and if you're in this industry, no matter what part of the industry you're in, don't be a pass through. Just
Mhm.
make your money, put it into other things. And we talk about investments and stuff. The number one thing I hate hearing from truckers is I'm gonna use this money to buy real estate. You don't have time to do real estate if you're a trucker because you're on the road. Having real estate, which is what I have, is not something a passive income. You still have to be on top of that. But how are you gonna be on top of that if you're on that road? See, a lot of people say, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna get into real estate. Real
Mhm.
estate, that's the play. Real estate. But real estate is not passive. It's a job. You know what I'm saying? Like you still gonna get calls from your tenant. You gotta fix stuff. You gotta do stuff with your property. There's a bunch of stuff. So I think truckers need to stop looking at that. And like I said, do the simple stuff. S&P 500. Put your money in there. You ain't gotta do nothing.
Mhm.
Put your money in the IUL. You don't have to do nothing. Be
Mhm.
smart. Keep it simple, especially for the truckers. Because why? You're still on that road. You're still working. You don't want to get these calls from real estate and stuff like that. Maybe do that after you're done when you got a nest egg so you can really dive into that business.
Yeah.
But owning real estate and being a trucker, I don't think it mixes.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't either because it's a lot of things. Now I know that you can get like a you can lease on to like a isn't it like a third party real estate company that'll take care of your tenants for you?
Yeah, you can get a property manager and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
property manager.
You can get
Yeah.
that, but the one thing is about that's eating to your profits.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
true.
you're only gonna get a property manager when you get multiple properties.
Mhm.
Mm,
Say you got 10 properties. Okay, I'm gonna get a property manager.
mm,
Or you got one property, you got really great margins. But it won't get to that until you actually dive into the business. You're not just gonna buy one thing and be like, oh, I'm hitting it. I'm good.
yeah.
You're gonna go through those growing pains, just like you go through in trucking, right? Just like you go through in when you're going to school. You're gonna have those growing pains. Insurance, right? You're gonna have growing pains, but how are you gonna go through those growing pains when you're not there? You're gonna have somebody else do it. So now you got somebody else handling your problems. You gotta pay them for that. That don't come free.
Right.
So that's why I
Correct.
say for truckers, be smart and just say, hey, I'm driving right now. I don't want to worry about that. Because I got this is so much just taking on my plate. Easiest thing that truckers can do is put their money into simple things like S&P 500, IULs, IRAs. That's simple things that put it in there and say, I'm good.
Hmm.
It's going to do its thing. You're not going to get no calls. But
And
I'm tired of truckers saying that I'm doing real estate. I'm going to do real estate. Because it's more than what it is.
Mhm.
yeah. And one thing I would say, one thing that I'm learning too, that I will say is I'm telling people to start downloading. Sometimes your iPhone comes with this anyway, but start downloading the stock
Yeah.
exchange app,
Yeah.
and then learn these indexes too. My wife just taught me about the indexes.
Yeah. There's
There's
different ones. There's a
there's
bunch of them.
different ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then it goes into what I've been preaching about over the past few months about looking into these publicly traded companies and stuff like that and find out what their tickers are and get on the stock exchange and see what their profits are and stuff like that. Because I guarantee you a lot of truckers have been taken advantage of. Just like Alante last week when we were talking and you had looked into Snyder's books, and you said that they had only netted or profited, I think it was like 100 M's or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to go back and I looked at that again right after we got off, and I rewatched this, and I went back, and the first thing my wife said, and I didn't catch it. She said, whoa, wait a minute. He just gave you something right there. I said, what you mean, babe? She said, he said they only just profited 100 M's. So that made me think, and that made her think, where the money going?
Oh yeah.
On
It's,
Where the
top.
money going?
yeah, it's
It's
on
going
top.
on
He
top.
said that. Yeah, that's what Alante said earlier.
It's
It's
going on
on
top.
top.
I didn't catch it, but
Yeah.
I got it now. Where the
Yeah.
money going? So if drivers take time to learn this stuff, guess what? Now you can be a master of your craft. If you're going to
Mhm.
stay in trucking, you can be a master of your craft. Now nobody can pull wool over your eyes and say, "Hey, come over here, driver. We paying 63,000." No, well, actually, your publicly traded company, and on your ticker it says that y'all making blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
y'all need to come up on that pay. What's going on?
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's another way truckers
It
can
comes down.
learn.
It comes down to education. That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
I,
Yes.
I also think too, dude. I met a lot of truckers who like to gamble,
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
if that's a big thing for you,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and you want to risk, and you want to, you're a risky person. I want to say get into
Don't do
trading.
it.
I say
Yeah, there you go.
I
Ooh,
say get into
trading.
trading. There's apps like Blowfin,
I
uh,
like that.
other coin apps, and my insured told me about this. He got me on game. He like, bro, you ain't gotta. He like, well, just put $50 in it. See if Bitcoin gonna go up, or you think it's gonna go down. Bet against it, short it out. That $50, and they can make me $500
Mm,
in
Right.
the
yeah.
same day.
That's
Yeah.
the see the gambling boy. Oof.
Yeah,
But
Trucker.
they set us up though. They put casinos near truck stops and stuff.
That's the biggest setup. That's the biggest setup ever for truckers is putting casinos right next to the truck stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
My
pull.
investment opportunity might be a casino.
That's
yeah.
that's what it is. Stop the gambling.
Mhm.
Truckers got to stop gambling, man. Like
Mhm.
but like what CDL was talking about, when you in your spare time, stop the gambling, stop the eating crazy, sit down in that truck and actually learn something. Learn the stock
Yeah.
market. Learn these things. These things are not hard to learn. You got so many things out there to teach you this stuff. You got YouTube, you got ChatGPT. Learn something and put your money into these vehicles because gambling, you ain't making no money. You may
No.
think, oh, I hit, but when's the next time you're gonna hit?
House always wins.
The house always wins in gambling. That's the you
House always
100%
wins.
right. Let's
But
go ahead. Go ahead.
the thing about trading, trading is similar to that same rush. So I'm trying to give them the medicine within candy.
I like
So if you trade, you can get up in the morning, early in the morning, while you're at a truck stop. Better yet, while you getting your load dropped off 6 or 7 in the morning, go
Yeah,
ahead and put your trades in. You
yeah.
yeah.
can do that while you're getting loaded. Oh, I ain't win. Take it out. You
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
know,
saying. That's what it is. If you want that thrill, I
yeah,
definitely
that
understand.
thrill.
If you want that thrill, then you can do day trading.
Hmm.
But what comes with that, like with day trading, you got to get up. You got to
Mm,
study. You got to know the market. You got to
mm,
put the work in. And everything we talk about in trucking, it's all about what? You got to put the work in. You got to want to
mm.
do it. You're not gonna make money just sleeping and sitting on your ass. You got to get up.
Right.
You got to do these things and research, whether that's going to school, whether that's looking at the ticker. Well, it's anything. You got to get up and work hard. Nobody's not gonna give you that money. That's
Can
it.
I let
Go
me
ahead.
slide something in? I was looking at they said people who shorted Bitcoin lost like $500 million over the last couple of days because Bitcoin hit new records.
Yeah.
So let's say I was in it for the long term. I said, you know what, Bitcoin is gonna go up, and I bought in at 97,000. Bitcoin is now at like 115,000, or was.
Yeah, it's high.
If you would have put $10,000 in, I'm just throwing a number. You're making an amount on every single point. Every time it's go to point one, point two, point three, you put 10 grand in, you might be 50K up. If you if
Yeah.
you if your nuts hang like that,
Yeah, yeah. But
but
it
you
takes
also can go negative.
yeah, so you gotta and that's the thing, you gotta be able to have the money and be able
Yeah,
to it all comes down to investing in anything, right? The core thing is
Right.
you gotta have the money.
yeah,
You if you have the money, now you can put your money in these different vehicles. But if you don't have the money because you're spending it as soon as you get it, or you spending it before you get it with advances and all these things, then you can't even have you give yourself an opportunity to invest in your future because you don't have the money. That's just what it is.
Right.
Let's get into let's start talking about some of these outside factors. We talked about the inside factor, so we're going to talk about insurance. So how is insurance like the silent killer for a reason why trucking companies or truckers or owner operators go broke? Like what are some red flags like how insurance can make people go broke?
I think
That's
that
you, Alante.
The
I,
insurance expert.
you know, and I want you guys to clip this one. I'm about to break it down.
Let's go.
All right.
Get in
So
the
the
frame.
first
Get
thing
in
you
the
guys
frame. There
do,
you go. There you go. Now you're in the frame. All right, cool.
the first thing you guys do when you guys go shopping for insurance, I'm gonna start at the beginning. You guys shop with multiple carriers.
Okay.
You break the market up to where if you shop with me first and I get first claims, and you got a good, honest insurance person, which you don't know, but you have one here that can talk to you guys.
Hey yo.
I can adequately shop the market for you for the best rates. I'm going to give you the best rates. A lot of times you guys go to Tom, Dick, and Harry, and then they're just throwing rates at you. And you pay it, but if you know that rate's not in your budget, you need to either move around or accept that maybe it's not in time for you to be in trucking.
Mm.
Okay. Secondly, you guys are getting in trucking before you have 2 years CDLs. You guys getting in trucking when your MBRs are unclean. You
Mm.
guys are getting in trucking when you just had an accident. You guys getting in trucking when you have a ticket or violation on your
Hey,
MVR.
hey, talk your shit,
You
OG.
know,
Talk
I'm
your
gonna
shit,
get this
OG.
off. I'm gonna get this off.
That's a nut hang.
Let them drop. You guys want to kind of get in the trucking when everything's clean with your MBR, everything's clean as far as your accident history, as far as even your experience. So when you enter the market, you can get an adequate rate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Don't come in the game fucked up. Don't come in the
yeah.
game, with accidents and stuff, because it's only going to put you in the niche market, paying a certain amount, and that price may put you out of business later on.
Now, what about him being a SAP driver? Does that hurt him
Except,
too?
I got some clients that are SAP drivers.
Okay.
Obviously, that puts you in a certain kind of criteria, niche market, DUI, speeding. A lot of companies can't mess with you, so now you're isolated to pay certain insurance rates based off of your experience and age. If you're between, I think, if you're under 30, you're going to pay like 60% more than the average person who's like in their 40s.
Mm.
Okay.
So if
Gotcha.
so, let's say it costs $1,000 to add me to your policy. I'm a 35-year-old guy, 36, and we add my little cousin. He got a CDL for 3 years, but he's 23.
Mm.
He's going to be $6,000 to add versus me. I'm going to be $1,000.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's important. When you're adding drivers to vet older, experienced drivers to add to your fleet, not the young guys who don't know nothing.
Gotcha.
Basically, what you're saying is this: if you're responsible with your CDL, you're gonna save money on insurance. If you're irresponsible, you will lose money. If you have a company, look for somebody that's older that doesn't mess up their CDL. But what happens is a lot of people get these CDLs and they mess it up and they lose money.
Yeah.
Going to the point that CDL says your DAC report. You go with these big companies, you do something stupid, and that's on your DAC report. So now you try to go with somebody else, and that affects your insurance as well. So
Yeah.
go to the nitty gritty of it, the basic. Take care of your CDL. Treat your CDL like gold. I think people don't understand that your CDL is gold.
Right.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money if you're just responsible with it.
Right. One thing that I do want to debate is the length. The timeline. Like I said a few months ago, what happens to that person like me, for example, had a heart attack, had to take 2 years out the truck. Now I took a whole year out the truck, but I did 3 years of teaching at a local CDL school. Now I know me and Marcus went back and forth with this a few months ago about it being about the miles and hauling actual freight versus teaching students.
Correct.
But why insurance companies don't see that as still trucking? Why take my whole 7 years, 7.5 years of OTR, flush it down the toilet, then take my 3 years of teaching, flush it down the toilet. Then when I want to get back OTR, tell me that I gotta start back at the bottom. I don't think that's fair.
Well, in my experience, let me ask you this: during your break, did you have a break
Talk to me.
as far as like a stop date with your CDLs? Did you have to go back and get your CDL?
No, I never had to go back and get my CDL, but I will say this: I did let my medical card go.
Okay.
That 1 year that I was out, I let my medical card go, and my CDL got downgraded to just a regular driver's license.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go get that medical card back, fax it to the state, they automatically upgrade you back to a CDL standard.
Well,
So is that what happened to me?
yeah, it
Awesome.
depends. It depends on one thing. If on your MVR, it's going to say an original date. If your original date is the original date when you got your CDL, I wouldn't be able to really detect it.
Okay,
And if you come to me, and this goes back to you picking an adequate insurance agent, I'm going
okay,
to tell the underwriter that. I'm like, look, bro had a situation. He sat down for a year, but he been driving 7 years. He clean. He ain't never had nothing.
yeah,
A great agent can convey that to an underwriter. Underwriter, "Oh, okay, we understand what's going on."
got you.
But sometimes they don't do that. They just, hey, you got a CDL, throw you in the fire. You
Yeah,
know.
because that goes back to the whole ATA's lie of a trucker shortage. No, y'all are kicking people out the industry because I know a lot of people that were in my position, not necessarily a heart attack, but they stopped trucking for a year or so, and then they try to get back into the industry, and it's like these companies that have these certain insurances will
Mhm.
say, nah, you don't have enough time. We need 6 months. We need a year of previous experience. But then they'll take somebody that just graduated CDL school, only got 3 months of experience over my 7.5 years, and they'll take them before they take me or somebody else. But I thought it was a driver shortage, though. I thought y'all need drivers.
No, it's about turn and burn. Their insurance companies
Got
have certain standards. They submit you, but once again, let's dial it back. If you go to an owner operator and he's hiring, he got seven,
you.
eight
Uh huh.
trucks, and he's my client. Like, I want to ask somebody. I do with
Okay.
trucking with D all the time. Trucking with D.
Okay.
Oh, she has some drivers that are challenged. And I'm able to go to the underwriters like, hey, this lady, she's gonna do good business with us. She's gonna add more trucks down the road. We need to make sure we get these guys in. Let's just watch them. They're
Mm-hmm.
fine with that. It's the relationship your
Okay.
agent has with the insurance company.
Got you. That breaks it down. That
Yeah.
that breaks it down right there. I had a interview lined up with one of these insurance companies, but they never got back to me. And I've been reaching out to them because I really want a lot of drivers to know what's going on. Why are we getting treated a certain type of way because we have a gap? But they never got back to me. But I appreciate you,
Yeah.
breaking it down like that.
I'm about me in this bar. My bad.
Mhm. You got any questions for me, Marcus?
Nah, you got all the answers.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you for
I keep
breaking
going
it
through
down.
loopholes with this stuff, man. I mean, I keep going through. I meet the drivers with the worst stuff, and sometimes I'm able to insure them. But I find it harder to insure people who have consistent violations on their DOT. When you have consistent violations, of course, it's going to be hard for you to add drivers. But if you're a fairly clean operation and you want to add a driver who maybe have a checkered history, the insurance can be like, okay, well, you don't have that much on you. Let's give them a shot. When you're dirty, you got guys flipping over trucks and stuff. I can't do nothing for you.
Do you do box trucks too?
Do box trucks too. Do cargo vans.
Do it
I
all.
re I recently insured somebody out of Ohio through Geico. Geico needs to see this. It was a great rate. They had a semi truck and a cargo van, and I got them $700 down, 300 a month for all lines.
Nice, nice. Who? So for somebody that's watching it just tuned in, who would you say would be the top five insurances that they should look into when they
Um,
when they when they when they come to you?
I, li- I like Geico. Geico, I'm gonna do one and two simultaneously because Geico and Progressive are one size fit all. Geico has a slight edge on Progressive because nowadays, a lot of brokers aren't taking Progressive, but
Why is that?
because during the pandemic there was a lot of claims, and from here to then there's a lot of claims, and Progressive like we ain't paying all these claims, like all these claims
That's
weren't
basically what
valid.
they did.
We know brokers are fraud.
That's why I love progressive people. Because because I have progressive. I
Yeah,
have progressive, and I'd be like, if I did work with a broker and they don't take progressive, I wouldn't even trip. I'd be like, you a dirty broker. Because
yeah,
progressive
Mm.
don't play around.
yeah. They
So
don't.
just be like, nope. Because
They're too big.
they too big, but they also have with insurance, like we always talk about data. They
Hmm.
got the data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this brokerage has a lot of claims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not messing with them.
Notice how Data Q can get together for the truckers, but Data Q can't get together against Progressive.
Mm. Because Progressive is an insurance
Man,
company.
hey, first of all, I'm upset with the whole data Q thing because, and this is what I really want to have a meeting with FMCSA. I'm thinking about emailing them because, yo, they're not playing fair, man. The truckers are doing what they're supposed to do. They're submitting data Q requests. They are submitting it with the right paperwork, the right pictures and stuff like that. And guess what? FMCSA is just going to wait them out. They're not going to give them a hearing or nothing. They're just going to wait them out, and then they'll never hear from them ever again. So I'm kind of upset with FMCSA about that.
A lot of people been coming to me, and no, I think I told Marcus about this. They're asking about the parliament. They're I thought you guys had a community, where we can go in and talk about brokers. That's really what people was asking about too.
It's
I
coming.
just had somebody ask me the other day about
Oh,
that
It's coming back.
because Data Q is such a infamous. There's nothing to be against them. Not saying to be against them, but there's no truckers lounge where they can hey man, these brokers over here doing shady stuff. You
What
know,
for the people that don't
right, right.
for the people that don't understand what is data queue?
So data queue is a way that, guess what? If you get pulled over and you get a DOT violation and they grant you a ticket or a citation or a warning, because we all know warnings now hold more weight than actual ticket.
Oh my god.
Um,
I can't
yeah,
stand that. That's another. Go ahead. Go ahead. But tell me.
yeah. So they have 30 days, right? They have 30 days to actually submit and fight it. They can submit like, hey, this DOT officer put me out of violation for, let's say, this bad brake chamber. But
Mhm.
then if you run into a hateful DOT officer that says your brake chamber is bad, because nobody's perfect, says your brake chamber is bad, but then you prove that it's not bad, you can take pictures, you can submit it, and you can fight it. And you have 30 days. And a lot of truckers, the things that I'm getting back and hearing back is truckers do that and FMCSA doesn't reply. Now you have to try to follow up with them within 14 days, and usually you'll get a reply. But now, what's been going on from 2022 to now, a lot of these data queue requests are just going unread, and then FMCSA will either wait you out or they'll just get their lawyer that has deeper pockets than you, and nothing will ever happen. And I don't think that's fair.
Mm.
Um, I'll say this: I need to do a little bit more research on that to make sure that that's actually happening, because we all know truckers fabricate stuff a lot. But I will say this: if
They be
if that
lying.
is right, if that is happening with the truckers submitting the proper and honest paperwork, if that is happening, I say shame on FMCSA.
Mm.
Shame on FMCSA. We all know that basically they're good for nothing anyway, but damn, like don't we're always held to a higher standard. We always get picked on the most, but then when we try to do something right, y'all don't even acknowledge it. And I think FMCSA's feet should be held to the fire. Like Sean Duffy, he's held a CDL. I think he's held a CDL class B because the interview I heard him in, he said he drove bus, never semi truck, but he's still been in that side of the industry. So if y'all can get all this stuff moved for English proficiency and the speed limiters and things of that nature, then why can't we get basically our day in court as truckers to be heard? I don't understand that. And I think the leadership that's in Washington now on behalf of truckers, the organizations we got up there now on behalf of truckers, and y'all know them. I'm not going to say their name on our platform, but y'all know them for for all small carriers and whatnot. I think that leadership up there has not really done a good job. I mean, if you go back and look at the new FMCSA rules that they have put in and that they have taken out, it's nothing in there about broker transparency. They got the speed limiters reduced. Okay, cool. But and then they got the English proficiency, but nobody talks about broker transparency. They don't try to educate truckers on cost per mile, but then they want to cry and whine about a certain ethnic group that's in trucking that's basically taking the work and winning because their operating costs may be low. but nobody's educating American truckers on cost per mile. So I think we need new leadership at the top in trucking.
Well, that's a good segue because you talked about this. I want to segue to that. Basically, like we always try to talk about a law, but this
Hmm.
law how can we, this law that we're going to talk about, let's talk about that and let's see how it affects truckers' pockets. And that's your favorite law, which is the 49 CFR 37.1.3.
Hmm.
First, explain a little. Tell us what that is, CDL, because I know you. This is your thing. Explain to us what it is, and then explain to us how it affects truckers' pockets.
All right. Well, first of all, this law right here, and I'm doing my best to market it because everybody needs to know this.
Mhm.
And me and Mr. Adam Winfield, we go back and forth about it all the time. And I love a good friendly debate, by the way. Good friendly debate because it's a lot of topics that people in trucking are not talking about or debating about. And I feel like debating is healthy because guess what? Now it gets people talking about things. You dig what I'm saying?
Correct.
But anyways, this law right here, 49 CFR 371.3, basically it is your right. It is your right to see what the shippers are paying these brokers and what the brokers are paying you. It's a transparency law amongst truckers. Now, a fun fact to go back into deregulation and everything. When Jimmy Carter signed deregulation into trucking, this law right here was not in the favor for us. It was actually in the favor for it was no, I'm sorry. It was in our favor and it was not in the favor for the brokers. Meaning you can go look this up. Anybody want to fact check me? Go look up Yellow Freight. What happened to them in 1983 and 1984. So we back in the day, the broker was nothing but a fancy salesman, right? That was tricking a lot of these shippers out here and saying, hey, they were calling them up and saying, hey, I got some trucks. And then they were calling up trucks and saying, hey, I got freight. And they just became a middleman. And that's basically how freight brokering started. C.H. Robinson was actually the first one. But before they became C.H. Robinson, I forgot the name of the company they was their first start. They got their first start from. But before C.H. Robinson became C.H. Robinson, they were somebody else. And then they got sold to C.H. Robinson. But anyways, Yellow Freight actually appealed this because shippers was paying us the money, and guess what? We was breaking brokers off on 10%, and brokers started crying. Basically, what we're doing now started crying out to the government, FMCSA, and saying, "Hey, how do we know what they're really paying us?" So the ICC actually got involved, and then the brokers they rallied up, which truckers we cannot seem to do unless it's about English proficiency. But brokers, they rallied up, they came together, they started something called the TIA, and then the story goes on from there, and they switched it.
Mm.
But with this right here, guess what? It's in our favor now, or it's not in our favor now because a lot of brokers got the freight from shippers. Now we don't know what they're paying. There's a guy on YouTube called Brandon the Freight Broker, and I mean, he tells the whole story off a $3,600 load, how he made damn near $1,500.
He stopped freight broker, didn't he?
Yeah, black guy with a bald
He
head.
stopped though. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see
He
that.
ain't hitting no more licks no more. That's why people got hit. People.
Yeah, but people got hit. But he
CDL Shorty
also
came out and got him.
But he also talks about how he was doing research on the lane, and the lane was paying X amount of dollars. And the research that he was doing on the lane was he was calling up random truckers and started asking them. And he actually found one that said what? He was only looking for gas money, and that's how he was able to hit that lick. But guess what? If we know how much these brokers are charging, then guess what? Now we can stop leaving money on the table. I don't care how good negotiation skills you got. You could say, guess what? There's a load for this broker is selling this load for 2,200. Right? This is what I'm trying to get people to really see the big picture of, because when I talk about this, and it's a lot of truckers too. When I talk about this, a lot of truckers are saying, I don't care what the broker made, just as long as I get mine. Okay, cool. But look at the bigger picture though. Let's say if you feel like you negotiate a good rate for yourself and you got 2,200 or 2,400, right? Let's say that's good for you. Guess what? What if that load was going for 7,000? That broker just hit a big lick off of you, but you feel like you don't care. You don't care. You don't care. Just as long as you get yours, you don't care. But you don't see what's going on the back end.
Right.
You feel me? So I have a question for you guys. With the whole English proficiency thing, who does it really hurt? It hurts. Think about this. It hurts a lot of these brokers out here because mega carriers don't have to deal with the English proficiency thing.
Less drivers.
So, right. Brokers deal with a lot of spot market, small mom and pop mega carriers, right? I mean, not mega carriers, but small mom and pop carriers. So is the English proficiency going to help us or is it going to hurt us? Is it hurting brokers or is it helping brokers? What do you guys think?
Well, I think if you get into English proficiency in the relationship of brokers, I think it's hurting brokers because it's less drivers.
That's right.
So if there's less drivers out there, there's less, and then now there's less incompetent drivers, right? Because if I'm from a different country and I'm here, I don't know English, but I'm making money, $1,000 to me in my country may be a lot more than $1,000 in the USA. Because if I make all money here, I'm sending it back home.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's really helping truckers.
It's helping truckers, but it's hurting brokers, though, which everybody always says what? Brokers got the freight. Truckers don't have the freight.
Yeah, but if they're going to have to pay what you're going to have to pay now. So if you're a trucker, I hate to say it, if you're a trucker, you're going towards the way of the test because less trucks, supply and demand.
Right.
Messes with that supply and demand, it makes it better in my favor. I'm down for it because now you don't have Joe Blow from a different country who shouldn't be here anyway, who can't speak English, but now he's not taking these cheap deals because he can't be here. He can't drive. So that's actually a good business situation for truckers. So I think a lot of truckers should be happy because now I got less trucks on the road. So if you are running spot market, you're going to make a lot more money. You see the numbers, they've went up. You know, they've been better. So let's trucks on the road.
But now what's going to happen is now it's going to see who all out there is business savvy. This is what I want to see. I want to see, because they was crying for years. Oh, it's English proficiency there. Because like I told y'all last week, you know, they came at it from a wrong angle talking about public safety when we all know it's not about public safety. No. If they came at it from the angle of capacity and trying to cut capacity, okay, cool, I got you. But now what it's going to do is it's going to expose who's business savvy out there now. All these people crying about English proficiency that's not trying to teach drivers how to be better business drivers. This we're going to see in this next year how many trucking companies fail and fold. And guess what? That blood is going to be on all those people out there that was crying about English proficiency because they were not teaching truckers P&L, profit and loss, cost per mile, how to save money on your fuel. They're not teaching that.
I'm gonna ask you this right here.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Talk to me.
Should truck drivers go to school, business school, before they get into that truck, before they become owner operators? Should that be a prerequisite? If you're gonna become your own trucking business, should you go to school and learn the business side before you become an owner operator?
Can I answer that?
I like that. Go ahead, Alante. I'll let you take lead on that before I take it.
I don't think they should go to school when Marcus offers such a great, wonderful class. Going from A to Z. I don't think they should go to school when Marcus offers such a great, wonderful class from A to Z. CDL offer consultation. I offer consultation. You have to tap into your resources. School's good, but I don't think school's gonna really teach you how to run that class, to run your business.
But like just knowing the bare essentials, maybe not even like a long school, like, you know, like we're in the insurance game and we got different, you know, CDL, got the trucking school. You got to get certifications for that. So don't you have some type of certification to just know? If I say, what's your cost per mile? You'll be able to tell me what your cost per mile is and you'll know what it is.
Your course is so good.
I think there should be some certificate before you become an owner operator. For sure.
You're right, 100%. Because, like I said, to backtrack what I said earlier, you always want to learn something from somebody that has a degree, and you could be that somebody that has a degree. Because guess what? Business school is going to teach you more things and certain things
Correct.
that you're not going to learn on the internet from me, from Marcus, from you, Alante. Because guess what? Have y'all ever? It's like this. Look at the load board, right? You go to the load board, whether it's DAT, truck stop, or whoever. You go to the load board. They got what? Premium. They got standard. They got all that.
Right.
If you get the standard, guess what? There's more things in the premium
That you need to
that you're
know.
gonna need that you need to know. So that's why you need to go to business school like Prime Inc. They have a business course that they give to the owner operators or the lease purchase operators, right? And
Right.
they're trying to do their part, but still, if you go get you a business degree or an accreditation of some sort, guess
Certificate of
what?
something.
There's something that Prime Inc. is missing out. That guess what? This school gave you.
Well, that's what I believe, because like
Me too.
I've always made this point. I always made this point of once you become an owner operator, you become a business. So a lot of the reasons why I saw a stat, what did it say? The stat said 72% of trucking businesses fail within 12 months.
Yes.
Okay. It's because you don't know your numbers. You don't know what the business side of this industry is. And to go a further point forward, I believe those certifications should be a state level.
Yes.
That should be a state and federal level. You're an owner operator, you're running your own business, you got an LLC, you need to have the certificate to show.
I don't agree with that.
I do, because I feel
I like the debate. I like the
I don't
debate.
a lot of
agree
people
with
that go
Let's
out of
debate.
business because there's a lot of people that go out of business. It's not because they don't work hard. It's because they don't know the terminology. They don't know the bare essentials of the business.
Yes, the terminology. There's different terminology.
Look at if I show you my DMs about the questions I get, what's a CPM? I still get those questions.
Oh wow.
I know how do I calculate my CPM? Can you show me how to calculate my CPM? Hey, do a video on how to calculate my CPM.
Yeah.
What?
Capitalism is being in a system to where we get paid off our knowledge and how well we do. The minute you start getting the government to mandate that, everyone become equal, and that's like a socialism kind of thing.
Well,
And then the government then can say, okay, you're not educated enough to do that. That's stifle capitalism. It is what it is. It needs to be larger barrier entries, but it's to a point. It needs to be if you get in the water, you stick a swim.
But this is what I'm saying to this though. Okay, I love the debate. I love.
I love I love a debate. Let's get it.
It's good.
I'm gonna say this to that. In trucking, you want a larger barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're fighting for now with the English proficiency.
Because what happens? Less truckers mean what for you if you did everything you're supposed to do? More money for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in the game for 10 years and somebody gets in the game and they mess it up for me, and I've been in for 10 years and they did absolutely nothing to work to get into this industry, and I suffer because of them. The people that's suffering in the industry is because people got into this game, like CDL said, don't know nothing about the business and was taking whatever. So now if you have a higher barrier entry and say, hey, you need to have this certification before you become a trucking business.
Right.
Maybe, like I said, it don't have to be a 4-year degree. Maybe a 6 to 9 month course.
I like that.
Actually learn the business, know the bare essential. And it's not nothing provided by no trucking company, because we know what they do with CDL schools.
That's biased as hell.
It should be a state mandated thing.
Yes.
And I believe, and you know who's thinking about doing it first? California. Because California has a high problem with people failing. And what does California have? We have in Southern California, we have the largest port. And they're like, we don't have enough drivers because they're going out of business. So we need to see if are they getting educated? And they did a study. 85% of drivers don't know the bare terms and bare things about the trucking industry. So why?
No, I like that you just said that and then you brought that up. I think the only problem to that, Marcus, is gonna be truckers actually listening to what California's got to say. You know, truckers hate California.
California's.
I know that. But I'm just saying this. It's just the reason why people go, we talk about it, the reason why people go out of business in this industry is not because you don't work hard. It's not that. We can't say people don't work hard in this industry because they do. They just don't have the knowledge, bro. So you got to get the knowledge. You got to know you got to know the simple stuff, bro. You got to know, hey, this and this and this. When we get into this industry, we've all been there, right? Luckily, we survived or whatever. But how many times did we have to learn on the go?
All the time.
How many times that we had to lose before we learned?
All the time.
But you know, California is a bad example because no one likes California laws.
No one doesn't, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But it's all about the money, though. If they're making more money, because less truckers mean less what? It means more money for the truckers in it, but it means less money for who? State, federal. So now when you start messing with their money, they're gonna be like, you know what? How do we make sure we get more money? So we got to educate these people. I think in order longer.
I think in order to push that right there, and a lot of truckers need to know that what you just said is valuable information. And I think to push that, we would have to say it come from an anonymous state.
For sure.
Because truckers hate California.
They hate California, but California got all the money though, bro. They got all the freight coming out of it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I lean more to a privatized factor. Once again, Marcus have a wonderful course that probably can teach you more than any government could. And from someone who does it specifically at a high level.
$24.99.
That's what I lean towards.
You just don't want government in it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't want the government in it. Because anytime the government touches their hands on it, it grows and grows.
Okay, so if it's not the government in it, but you need to have, maybe you don't take it through the government, but the government needs to require it. DOT maybe, okay, let's not do state, then let's just do federal level. They need to require it.
Federal's worse.
They need to, but it has to be a requirement. Because I'm telling you, you have a higher barrier entry. Now, if you're already in the business, you're gonna succeed. And then we all know this. Trucking is easy to get into. It's too easy. We all know this. It's too easy, bro. I can get an LLC, have a trucking business, get insurance. I can have that in 21 days. And I'm in the business. So I can come into business 21 days and wreck it. I'm taking dollar-mile freight. I'm messing up everything.
Hey, before next October, guess what? You can crash that trucking company, and guess what? Open up another one overnight.
That's what I'm saying. So there needs to be a higher barrier entry to be like, hey, you want to have your own trucking company? Because we see the numbers.
Right.
I just said it, 72% fail. Okay. So if we got these numbers, then we need to make a higher barrier entry. Because what does that do? That deters the people from coming overseas to getting up in here and messing it up. It deters people in America getting in here, messing it up. Because now it's not looked at a get rich quick scheme because you can't get into it quick.
But Marcus, it's not the government's job to make sure people succeed in business.
It's not to make sure that they need to succeed in business, but they need to make sure that people understand the business. Okay,
I don't think it's their job.
So this is what we're gonna say then. Okay,
safety, yes, safety, yeah, but not.
But this is what I'm gonna say then. This is what I'm gonna say then. Well, why do we need a life insurance license then?
Great example. Hold on, I'm a deliver.
Why do I need a real estate? Why do I need a real estate license?
Because
the barrier of entry.
Yes, I agree with it. I'm 100% complicit. But with life insurance and real estate, they show us how to play within the boundaries of the laws that plays with life insurance and real estate. It doesn't show us
to know the business.
It doesn't show us how to be a successful life insurance agent.
Well, I'm not saying it needs to show you how to be a successful life insurance agent, but it needs to show you. But it shows.
Hey, I love this. I got my tea ready.
But it shows you this though. It shows you the terms, the foundations, the terminology. You got to be able to talk the talk. If you want to be in a room, you got to be able to know to talk the talk. So what I'm saying is, what CDL sees it with truckers, you see with truckers, I see with truckers. You ask a trucker, what's the CPM? What's that?
Right.
How do you not know that? And you own a trucking company, and you are owner operator.
I agree with that. They should know it, but once again, I
really believe that.
They should invest in coaching.
Check this out. No, go ahead, Alante. Go ahead. I like
they should invest in coaching. And once again, Marcus has a phenomenal course.
It's amazing.
Just to educate these people about
It's amazing. But okay, I'm just saying this. If you want to make trucking, make trucking a lifetime job, man, I want to do trucking for the rest of my life. But how can you do that when anybody can get into it and mess it up for you?
True.
That's the way
True.
that is capitalism of America. You know, that's
No,
essentially
you can't say it's capitalism, because the reason why I'm saying that is because you got capitalism in real estate. You got capitalism in the financial sector. I was a firefighter. You got capitalism even in that. I still got to get all these things. If you look at all these things around us,
Yeah.
have to get some type of certificate, some type of degree.
I agree with you, bro.
So instead of just getting a CDL, because we know a CDL is just what? That's just driving, bro. And that don't really teach you nothing.
Yeah.
I believe this. Here's another hot take. You shouldn't be able to get your CDL so quick. It should take some time.
Yeah.
I like
Really,
it.
you should really work to get your CDL. You should
it.
be in CDL school longer. It shouldn't be.
I like it.
It shouldn't be based on hours. It should be maybe a 6-month course, because
I like it.
you really want to do it.
I like, because
That prevents the bad people to be on the road, hitting shit, killing people. Keeps the guys from overseas. Keeps the guys from overseas coming over here, getting their license so quick. Everything in this industry is too quick.
I like it.
That's the
California is notorious.
I like it.
California is notorious, and I'm gonna let you go, CD, after this. California is notorious for allocating adequate funds to people who want to prevent gang violence or to educate people. They should allocate funds to people like you to educate the masses.
Exactly.
Now that'll be fair.
I love it.
But for them to have a setup shop where you can go in and out and be educated about trucking, oh no. I think you should learn in the streets.
Nah, that's why a lot of people fail. Not this business.
I don't necessarily think you should learn in the streets, because guess what? Check this out, right? How many lease purchase people we have out there?
That's crazy. That's the next subject too.
From COVID to now, that are actually talking or even know the term cost per mile, CPM.
Exactly.
We have. Let's just throw a number out there. Let's say there's 500 lease purchase people out there, right? That are leasing a truck and think that they're doing just fine. Out of that 500, you only have 10 that are actually talking about CPM, know what CPM is, and making content on it. LaShawn Parks, Trucker Brown, a guy named Mark the Mentor, me, you, us. There's not that many people. So when you learning in the streets, like even like Prime, they doing their thing over there by having their lease purchase people go to a business course. But guess what? The business course isn't even mandatory, number one. Then number two, there's two people at Prime that I follow that are kind of business savvy. They don't even know the difference between your variables and your fixed.
Yeah. I got that.
They don't even know the difference between. They're getting this one guy that I follow. You could tell he's a little business savvy, but he's still mixing up his variables and his fixed costs. So if you take a class by somebody that has a business degree, and you actually go to school, and then I also think one of the reasons why I go above and beyond at the school when I post those videos of chaining up and teaching people about the brakes and stuff like that, because hold on, let's get this thing. Let's back up, right? They say trucking school. When I hear the word school, that tells me that guess what? You're gonna come here and you're gonna learn everything there is about trucking. No, what's happened is these states have gotten lazy, and they got a lazy standard on these trucking schools. And guess what? They're teaching the bare minimum. And I actually talked to one of my old employers. I talked to him, and he told me, and my wife was sitting right there. This is right after my heart transplant. He told me that guess what? We ain't got to do all that. We just need to teach them the bare minimum per the state.
And how much is a CDL school?
About 5,000 and above.
Okay, but look at it like this.
There's some out there that's 3. There's some out there that's 4,000.
But let's say $5,000 for a CDL school. How many hours they got to do?
160 in North Carolina.
160 in North Carolina. So that's what $300 an hour.
Basically. Yeah.
Let's go.
Basically, when you break down the math like that.
Yeah, I'm nice. $300 a mile. You know what I'm saying? $300. So about say like $300 per hour.
Yeah.
Bro, you can go to. So you telling me 160 hours? You said 160.
160.
160. So what's the usual days that people complete that course? 20 days.
Usually
8 hours a day. Or you guys?
Yeah, 8 hours a day. So
20 days. So 20
usually about a month or so. Yeah.
so 20 days, $5,000. And you're not even learning the business side.
You're not
And a
learning.
lot of these places, you're not even learning the CDL. So
No.
so that's why it needs to become a longer situation. I'm
Yes.
telling you, if you make the requirements for your CDL, just say we're not going to talk about the business side.
Mm-hmm.
CDL, you need to be in CDL school for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
How many better drivers would you have?
You have a lot of better drive, but this is where the problem come in. If it's me
It's
being a
money.
CDL instructor, we get a lot of people where we help change their lives, but we get a lot of people that are down on their luck, that barely have the money to pay for it, and they're looking to get into trucking to change their life. So
Mhm.
that 30-day CDL school, man, they come back in about 4 or 5 months after they're a rookie on the road, and guess what? They done got themselves a car, they done got an apartment now, and they're doing better. So how do we lengthen the CDL school without hurting people's pockets? You
I'm
feel
gonna
me?
say,
Or
I'm
crushing
gonna,
their dreams.
and what I'm gonna ask you this: what's the percentage of people that you think has that story?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest with you, and I'm gonna do like the state of Arkansas right now because I don't actually have the data right on
I'm just
spot.
saying, what do you think? Is one
But
out of
I
10,
would
two
go
out of
with
10,
I would go with a probably I would say half,
half,
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10? Okay, I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you this: those five that got into the industry that don't, they're just trying to make money, just trying to hit a lick. Those are the five people that's getting into the industry, messing up the industry.
Well, not trying to hit a lick, trying to change their life.
Well, the
Like
people, no,
down on their
the
luck,
people that's trying
poor.
to, the people that's trying to change their life is
Oh,
cool.
you talking about the other five?
Exactly. The other
Got you.
five.
Got you.
Those are people that
Got
get
you.
into the industry, right? And
Got
mess
you.
it up. Okay. And I believe this: trucking is a very, like you said, safety. There's no way you can learn everything you need to learn in trucking in
In
160
30 days.
and 30 days.
Yep.
Okay. That's why I feel like it should be 6 months.
I like it though.
And people that won't like it is the CDL schools because I'm making $5,000 a head.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Not everybody teaches like you. I'll tell you this: my CDL school wasn't like you, but I'm so self sufficient. I learn on my own, bro.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Like I don't need nobody. I'm learning this all on my own. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But a lot of these places ain't like that. That's why I feel like that's the reason why you have high driver turnover. It's because
Yes.
people because you know why? When you get into this industry, it sets you up. Oh,
Yes.
I got my CDL quick. The CDL test was quick.
Yes.
Ooh, the CDL school was quick. Now
Yeah.
I'm driving for a company, but my money ain't coming and it ain't quick. It ain't what I thought it was gonna be. I quit.
Right. 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 Like
See
my
what I'm
man
saying? So
Purpose
now your
City.
mentality is like quick, quick, hit a lick, hit a lick. But then when you start working for a company, oh hell no. Then I'm gonna go to owner operator. Now you fucking up the game even more.
Yep.
See what I'm
Fucking it
saying?
all up.
So the mentality needs to change to say you need to be in this longer to understand and appreciate what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's too quick.
Like my man Steve was on YouTube. Y'all go follow him, check him out. But he's a CDL instructor in Maryland. He's fighting right now because Maryland is taking certain backing maneuvers off of the test in CDL school.
They're making it
Here in
too
North
easy.
Carolina, they chopped the pre-trip down so much that they barely got to say stuff.
Well, the thing is though, and I ain't trying to get racial. I ain't trying to, but I am American. I know why they doing that. They're not doing that for me
Talk
and
to
you.
me.
They're not doing it for us. They're doing it from the people coming over that water
Yeah,
to make it easier for them to get CDLs.
yeah.
The people that's gonna get on the road, those are the people that kill people.
Mhm.
And then somebody even said this on my comments.
Hey, that's a good point right there.
He was like, somebody said this in my comments. Man, I lost two friends in trucking from a driver that was from overseas. He killed
Seen
them.
that.
They bailed him out, and he flew home. Haven't seen him since. So they making these laws. They're not making these laws easier
Yeah.
for us to get hired. They're making it easier for them to get hired.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at everything, no, it needs to be
Gotcha.
harder. Because when it's harder, they can't just jump in this industry and mess it up. Now, if I'm in it, I'm an owner operator. I'm making good money, and I'm doing everything the right way. I paid my dues. Of course, I should get rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that want to get into this industry.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that want to get into this industry and not do the work, but want to get the same amount of money as
Mm-hmm.
I've been in it for 10 years. So I'm a wholehearted believer
Mm-hmm.
be more education. There should be a longer CDL time. CDL school should be a lot better. Like those are the things that should be regulated. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that should be coming. Hey, what y'all teaching these people? There was a school that just got busted for giving out fake CDLs
Seen that.
for
Yeah,
fake,
I heard about that. Yeah, I know.
certificates, giving it to people, and then they say they
I know, but
retested those same people. 95% of them failed.
I know, and I like that you said that too. And they shine a light on that CDL school, but also it's not the people that the people that's got the fake CDL. It's partially their fault because we need to hold them accountable. But let's talk about who's in charge of these CDL schools.
Correct.
Who's the examiner? Because there were some state troopers a year ago, a ring of them, white state troopers, a ring of them that was getting just giving them CDLs.
Right.
So I think the whole industry within itself needs a little bit of regulation because we can talk about this. We could talk about underride crashes and the trailer manufacturers that are making faulty trailers out here that are actually hurting people. In that documentary with underride crashes, Wombash got sued. I think they got sued for $100 million because they was slapping DOT bumpers that was failing.
Yeah.
And then in that documentary, there's a mother and a father that lost their sons and daughters. And the trucking industry in totality gave that family the middle finger and was like, that's y'all's problem. But do you guys think that it should come down to the DMV as well? The DMV, I think, plays a big part in this.
It's all money. If just follow the money.
Yes.
Follow the money.
Because the DMV has gotten really slack.
That's when we go into this and we're going. When you look at all these things, it's all about money. Everybody, and we talk about this before. Everybody making money off the trucking industry, but the trucker.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's why it needs to be more things to protect the trucker. So if you're gonna make money off of me, protect me.
I like that.
That's what I feel like about these, like the state, the federal. Protect me. If I pay my dues and got my CDL and I do everything the right way, yes, I believe that the person should take at least 6 months to go through CDL school to get proper training.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I believe that if you want to get your own business, you should get a certificate that shows that you at least understand these terms and understand the terminology before you start your business. Okay. I believe in that because what that does is it makes the person that already did it more valuable. That's what it is. So if you want to make the trucker more valuable, then there needs to be roadblocks.
I like that.
To keep anybody from getting in. So imagine if we had those roadblocks in. Imagine if you had to get your CDL longer, you had to get that certificate to get into the business. Imagine how much money you would have made during COVID if you was already there.
Yes.
And those people try to hop in real quick, but they can't. Damn, I can't get in this. So how much more money would you have made? Because you I already did that. I'm already there.
Right.
There's no certifications in trucking to really give you that upper hand. Unless you do like heavy haul, you have to. There's certain things you have to have, certain licenses and stuff. But you see that. You see, everybody can't get into heavy haul.
Right.
Because there's certain licenses that you gotta have that those people can't get.
Right. Now, I will say this. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. It was February 2nd. I can't remember if it was 2022 or 2023 when the government actually got into the CDL school programs, and they actually put a little bit of a higher barrier to entry by saying, so before February 2nd, either 2022 or 2023, you could, like Marcus, if you got a truck and you wanted me to drive for you, you could take your truck, you could teach me in your truck, and then we could go to the DMV and I can do the test in your truck.
I remember that.
They stopped that. Now you got to go to CDL school. But now as I'm looking at it and I'm thinking back on it, it's like these CDL schools is winning out here. But when you go look at them, the equipment look like crap. They're not teaching. They're teaching the bare minimum. I mean, like you said, Marcus, 20 days, 30 days, that's $5,000 a pop.
And they don't care. And they don't care if you pass or not.
Right. So
why don't you give me my bread? What are my place? My place was cool. I had a cool guy. He said, "You got what?" He told me. He said, "You got you got 3 tries in the DMV test. If you failed after that, it's $500 a pop each time you use the truck.
Yeah.
I passed on the first time, and I asked him when I passed. I said, "How many people?" He was like, "I make more money off of that than I do off the school." I'm like,
Damn.
I make more money off of people retesting
Damn.
than actually going to the school.
So all the people that's winning, in trucking nowadays is the CDL schools, factoring companies, bonded warehouses, everybody but the driver.
Right.
And here's another barrier to entry. I think another barrier to entry need to be. I feel like it need to be insurance. Feel like if you're gonna, I don't feel. I do feel like. I do feel like there needs to be education before. I just don't feel like it need to be required. As far as like how to run a business, it need to be education for safety, education for speaking the language. It need to be deep and further education on that.
Correct.
I feel like you do need to be educated around how to run a business, but once again, Marcus has a fine institution where
It's just a simple one right now. It's not. It's called Trucker Survival Playbook. I'm gonna put the link at the
Love
bottom.
it.
It's called
Love it. Link at the bottom, y'all.
It just talks about what you need to know, mindset, calculating your CPM. It's a simple course, $24.99. I don't really push it like that, but I have it on all the links. But like you said, you just gotta really learn from people. But go ahead, my bad.
and be coachable. You know, I think that if a lot of these guys, I set a lot of my guys up with a few people who help set their DOTs, and they coach these guys, and these guys come out more successful on the flip end.
Right.
You know, because they're being coached by somebody who has some umph to them. But
Yeah.
insurance is the number one mandate. Insurance is the regulator, because if you can't get adequate insurance or cheap insurance, you're gonna be priced out of the market anyway.
Well, insurance is already in the mandate, right? You can't even have a company without insurance.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So that's already a regulation, right?
Yeah, insurance. We talked about that with the MC and DOT.
You gotta have
the MC
insurance. You gotta have that. You know, the question
He said, who's the first person that they talked to with the MC?
insurance.
Insurance.
How are we gonna? Okay, we're gonna change this, and insurance is like, how are we gonna make sure we make?
And this where insurance go. Insurance said, "Oh, we don't like that. Do it like this."
Exactly. But the question I have to all the truckers and owner operators is this: you pay $5,000 for a CDL school. You should probably pay $5,000 to learn the business. Just learn the business. I'm not telling you to teach you how to be successful, because success is dependent on you, but to learn the business.
I like that.
You should agree.
You should go somewhere and pay that bread. If you're really trying to be successful in this business, pay the money and learn it.
See, Marcus, I'm sorry I've interrupted.
No, good. Go ahead.
Most people, CDL can contest to this. A lot of people have, but they've gotten scammed from these internet gurus about trucking, and they tried to do that. So I get why y'all guys saying maybe a state-funded program would be better.
Because because what it does, if you have a state-funded program or you have a state requirement, just like when we got the licenses, right? We had to work with an approved, accredited provider.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could do the same thing in the trucking space.
I agree with you.
Right. So, but I believe it don't have to be $5,000. It can be where it needs to be, but you need to be able to have something that says, I understand this business. So if you do fail, it's not because of lack of knowledge. It's because of lack of hard work and lack of what you did on yours. But a lot of people are failing. It's not because they don't want to work hard, because in trucking, they know I got to work hard. I got to drive. I got to do all this stuff, whatever. But you don't know the business. Right. You don't know the business side of it. You don't know what fees you need to pay. You don't even know when you need to pay your IFTAs. You just relying on somebody else. You don't know what an IFTA is. Like, it's just all these little things that you don't understand. You just think, oh, I'm an owner now, I'm going to make all this money. But you don't understand all these things that need to be taken care of. Or just know, like I said, I get messages every day in my DMs. What's the cost per mile? How do I calculate a cost per mile? What? How long you been in trucking? I've been in trucking for like 3-4 years. But I heard you talk about cost per mile. But like, what is that? Huh? And then
I get them too.
And you telling me the freight market messed up. Don't tell me the freight market messed up if you can't calculate your cost per mile.
Right.
That's
you
know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me I ain't making no brokers is this and this. Look at yourself first and say, do I know my business?
Accountability.
Do I know my business?
You know, Marcus, there's certain things though, and the reason why I agree with everything you're saying, but my only pushback on the course for state being man, there's certain things the course can't teach, even school can't teach. If you're in the middle of nowhere, how do you find a mechanic that can adequately fix your truck? Who do you
Oh, no,
trust?
I like that too. I like that too. But go ahead, Marcus.
No, go. He's still going. Go ahead.
Who can adequately fix your truck? When your driver calls out and you don't have a CDL, how do you maneuver? What does school teach you about that? Those are personal experiences only a consultation or a coach would teach you.
True. And that's why you need to still have that. Correct. But you still need to be able to, if I got a coach, right? That's like if I play basketball, right? If I got a trainer and he says, I want you to do a right pivot to a jab step to a step back to a three. If I don't know what he's talking about,
True.
if I don't know the bare terminology, if I don't know the things that I should be knowing before I have that, he's not going to be able to help me because now he has to teach me those things.
Oh,
Exactly.
look, I even go a step further with that, Marcus.
Yeah, if you're my
I even go. I
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, real quick, I just say if I'm mentoring you, I won't mentor nobody in this trucking industry that can't tell me what a cost per mile is. If you can't tell me that, then you need to go ahead and take one of these courses and watch that and learn that. I don't want to spend my time telling you what that is. I want to spend my time giving you strategies. That's what a mentor is for. A mentor is to give you strategies on how to help you grow your business. That's what a coach is for. You're here, you know the bear. Now I'm a coach. I'm just going to teach you the strategies. Look at this. Look at this. Talk to this person. But I'm not going to be talking to you back and forth telling you, okay, cost per mile is. Make sure you add your fixed variables plus your I should be able to talk to you like that, and you understand what I'm saying. And now, okay, you already understand it. So this is how you grow your business. That's what a coach is for. A coach isn't for to teach you the bare necessity. The bare necessity is to take a course, is to go to school, is to know that terminology.
Right. I'll even go a step further, Marcus. Another analogy. How's a basketball coach going to be your coach if they never played the game of basketball themselves? And that's what we got going on. We got a bunch of people that became investors in 2020 and now up to date that are trying to coach business but they don't have a CDL.
Exactly.
So to go back to Alante's question, what if your driver calls out and you don't have a CDL yourself? How do you operate that? Or you can't find a CDL driver. Well, guess what? I have no business. You have no business even being my coach because you never played the game of basketball. What are you going to teach me?
Oh, I got a question. Go ahead.
And that's what's really going on in the trucking industry right now. There's a lot of people out there that's never even done this, that has a little bit of business savvy and some money to invest in equipment, that has a flashy lifestyle, that is trying to be people that are trying to be people coaches. And that's why a lot of blood is on their hands, because there's a lot of failed businesses out there on that person or those people's hands. Learn the game first. Be in the game. Know everything about this game before you try to call yourself a coach.
Let's do it. We're going to do this question and then we'll do the ending of this because I gotta get
okay.
It's a great question. I know. This is gonna be CDL first, then Alante. This is the question. Okay. The question that I got. Since we started up, I like this. Today's a good. I like this. This is good. Here's a question. Here's a question for CDL first. In order to own a trucking business, should it be required to have a CDL?
Come on, man. You already know what I'm saying.
I don't know. You tell me.
Come on, man. For me, yes. Because it goes for everything I've been preaching ever since I really got on this social media platforms or situation. Because yes, you go through the business class to learn the business side of it. But guess what? That's when we talked about the trailer maintenance last week. That's when we talked about the truck maintenance. That's when we talked about, guess what? If your driver calls out and you can't find any more drivers in that area that hold a CDL and you have to jump in that truck, guess what? If you don't have a CDL, you can't jump in that truck. Now, let's say you do have a CDL, but you stopped right there. After you got your CDL after school, you stopped. You haven't had to jump in that truck for the last 2 years. You got a contract, because a lot of people like to talk about, oh, I got this contract now, blah, blah, blah. So let's say you got a contract with Tyson meats that you got to get to Aldi or somebody, right?
Right.
Okay. You know the business side, you the investor, you got a CDL, but you haven't even been in the truck for 2 years since you left CDL school. Don't even care about the truck. Do you know how to make a wide turn? Do you know how to back into a dock without taking that dock plate off or that light pole out right there? Or
taking that whole other trailer out?
That's right. That's right.
We all tap
So,
that.
that's right. So to answer your question, yeah. Yes, like it's and then keeping up maintenance on your trailers. Like
So you think to order to have a trucking business, even if you're not driving the trucks, you should have your own CDL.
I do.
It should be required. Do you think
I
it should be required, like a state mandate, federal mandate? If you want to get into this business, you got to have a CDL. Okay, Alante shaking his head. What does he think?
I do, because at the end of the day, you're nothing without the driver.
Okay, but I'm saying as you as an owner though,
Me as the owner, because it's not going to do nothing but guess what? Enhance my business, because I don't need, if that driver calls out, okay, cool, no problem. I'm going to jump in that truck and I'm going to cover it myself to make sure that my business keeps running. Even if I got to jump in it for a day, guess what? I didn't miss that load. I didn't miss no food. I didn't miss that money. That check going to still roll in. If my air compressor go out, I went to CDL school. I'm knowledgeable to know that, guess what? Air compressor is gear driven. So, damn. Okay, boom. If I hear a knocking noise, boom. Okay, that's my air compressor. If you don't have any knowledge of that, but you just have business knowledge, you don't know nothing about an air compressor. So now, guess what? You could take to a shop and they're gonna bang you on the head because they know that you don't know.
Exactly. What do you think, Alante? Should
Let's talk about it.
Should it be a state requirement, or should it be a requirement to own a trucking company, but you have to have a CDL? So in order to have a trucking company, you have to have a CDL.
Alante gonna call me a socialist.
Should that be a rule?
No.
He gonna call me a socialist.
I think it's absolutely the most valuable thing you can do to have a CDL while owning a trucking company. It's the absolute most valuable thing. Because there are, in my experience, certain times, a little brief memory, walked down memory lane. I had a driver. He was in Savannah. It was early in the morning. He got locked up. I had to go get my truck. Had to take me and my wife. 4-hour drive in the middle of the day. Go to Savannah. Go get the truck. And bring it back. And I couldn't do that if I didn't have my CDL. So you're right on par. But I will, pivot a little bit and make an objection. I do think it shall not be government requirement. I don't believe in the government getting their hands on these little things. The government likes to pick and choose where it gets its hand on things as far as how it benefits them, in my opinion. But I digress. I feel like this.
Go ahead.
There are certain people who were born around trucks. They were born working on trucks. They were born being around truck drivers. I know a lot of people like that in my experience. And if they want to own a truck company because of their relationship with drivers and maybe they know mechanics, I think they could be owners. That might not make them good owners, but because they understand the industry from being in it, grandfathered in, I feel like they can be great owners. And they shouldn't have to have a CDL because that might not be their edge. From going being a school instructor, everybody can't drive these trucks. So just off that, it's not a one size fit all. Everybody can't drive trucks and everybody can't run a business.
No, I got to push back on you on that. I've been a CDL instructor for the last 3 years, and I haven't seen not one person that couldn't drive the truck. It's just mainly a fear factor But no, you can drive a truck if you really want it. I mean, I taught the most difficult guy ever. He had ADHD, he had a short attention span, but bro got his CDL, and I can honestly say he worked for it. He came to school and he worked for it. A lot of people use that excuse, and I see it all the time with these internet gurus. I can't drive a truck. I can't driving a truck is hard. It's hard, but it's not that hard. It's not rocket science.
No, it's not. It's very simple, to be honest.
Nah, I disagree.
And they make automatic. So if you don't want to do the stick shift, you can do automatic. It's just like driving a big car, a big vehicle. You got to learn your clearance and all of that.
But hell, a lot of people can't drive cars that good.
And that goes to the DMV as well. That goes to the DMV for the lack of knowledge on how to properly operate a vehicle. But bro, it's not rocket science on how to learn how to drive a truck. A lot of people just, first of all, it's a fear. It's a fear. And me being a CDL instructor, I see it all the time. People come to school and they see that big truck and that big trailer, how long it is and how big it is, and they get intimidated. I was intimidated.
They butt me this tight.
Yes, especially when you throw them out in traffic.
Oh my goodness.
And when I first came to CDL school, I was intimidated too. But guess what? You got to get over that fear. I have a fear of snakes. And guess what? I'm trying to learn I'm trying to get to the point to where I can actually rub one and touch one. I don't want to be around snakes, but it's all if you want to do better for yourself. And a lot of people make excuses. A lot of people make excuses as why they can't get in the trucking industry. One of my people that I like to follow on YouTube, it's a lady. You know, she was going to go get her CDL. She jumped in the truck. Guess what she said? She said the truck is too high. I started freaking out. Really, the truck is not that high. You get in an airplane, don't you?
Yeah.
The truck is not that damn high.
Great. I'm gonna let you go, Marcus. So I do my studies. With that being said, would you say it's more dangerous to skydive or drive a semi truck?
Ooh.
Statistically, since everybody can do it, because people are scared to skydive, but everybody can do it.
I think trucking is more dangerous.
Trucking is more dangerous because you have people that brake check you, people that cut you off. But then again, that goes back to the failure of the DMV because a lot of these crashes statistically are due to cars and not trucks. Because how many times have you guys took a load and a car just cut you off?
For sure.
It happens.
So
cars don't know how to drive around trucks.
So the fatality rate in skydiving is 1 in 220,000. The fatality rate in trucking is 1 in 8,000. So that means everybody can't do it because there's a fear component associated with skydiving, just like it's a fear component associated with truck driving. But in your anecdotal experience, if everybody can do it, we will do it. It will be successful. But there's a dangerous component to it. So with that dangerous component, everybody can't do it.
So do you think that it should be required to own a business, though, a trucking business?
Just because there's a danger aspect with it, no. Because if you don't think you can do it, you go out here and you kill yourself with somebody else. Because sometimes a lot of things in life are just by belief. Believing you can do it, believing you can go out here and do it. And I'm with you, CDL, and they have somebody like you to instill that belief in them, bro.
No, I like the pushback. I like the pushback because it's a good, healthy debate.
Yeah, for sure. You my man.
I would go even further and say, then why get into trucking? Then why get into trucking as far as business is concerned? Because if that truck break down or if you can't find a driver, your truck is going to sit. And I talk about this from personal experience because I actually had one of, and I'll just go ahead and say it, Alex Ganinji. I had one of his mentees. She bought a truck. Her sister is a CDL holder. Her sister was going to drive the truck for her, and then she was going to be the fleet owner and the dispatcher. Her sister never drove. Her sister didn't even want to drive for her because they got in some kind of argument or something like that. She couldn't find a driver for the longest time. Then she finally found one. That driver out the window. Then she found another one. That driver didn't take care of her equipment. Then she found another one that was a good driver, got in one accident, parked her truck at the yard and quit and didn't even tell her, never came back. So then that's when she hit me up and was like, yo, we either got to sell this truck or me and my husband, one of us is going to have to jump in it. That truck sat, no lie, I promise y'all not. That truck set for 87 days before me and her got a chance to start training. Then it set for another 5 months until she got her CDL, because it took us that long for her to get her CDL, because we was doing it part-time whenever I had time and whenever she had time, because she was a working mother as well. Now, yeah, she could have found another driver, but she just blew through 4 of them, and one of them messed up her truck and trailer severely to where she had to spend that money to get her truck back drivable, or her trailer back drivable again. So again, I ask, if you're going to be business savvy and not have a CDL or not even want to go get one, why jump into the trucking industry? Are you looking at it because you see the money, you see the value, you see trucks? It's one of the things I heard from a lot of COVID people, COVID investors, COVID drivers, whatnot. They said, guess what? During the pandemic, everything stopped, but trucks were still running up and down that
Yeah.
road. And they was only looking at it from a profit standpoint, but they don't love it how I love it. They don't love it how you love it, and so on and so forth. That's why a lot of veteran truckers are upset with these COVID drivers, because they fucking the game up, because they just jumped in it, and now they talking about God says it's time for me to pivot. God says this season is over. This was never your season. This was a joint venture that you just saw and just got into it.
I'm with you on all that. I don't like people getting in and messing the game up, and during the way. I don't respect that, and I don't like it. I just think of someone who maybe grew up around diesel, who know how to build motors and how to work on trucks, and and maybe their dad owned a semi, was an owner op, and he like, what his dad like, son, you ain't gotta drive, you can drive, I drive, you work on it. It's a way to strategically do it and maneuver to where you don't have a CDL. I don't like people getting in the industry being in the way though. Hell no.
Well, that's what, from my whole point. It's like we talking about truckers losing money, not making money, not making enough money. Yeah, there's the aspect for the truckers. There's things that they do, they lose money. But it's also, if you look at the industry, I'm always gonna go back to that. I always feel like the industry is too easy. So that's the reason why the industry fluctuates so much. Right? The reason why there's an influx of drivers, influx of trucking companies, because there's no barriers.
Right.
I should feel special having my CDL.
Exactly. The CDL has got watered down.
The CDL has been watered down because it's too easy. The mindset of getting your CDL is, I can get my CDL and be making money in 30 days.
Yes.
We got to figure out a way to get out of that, to make it harder. It needs to be harder. So, because when it's harder, now the guys that's been driving for 10, 15, 20 years that did it the right way, they still gonna be making money today.
Make sure you clip this one. This is a good time.
They're gonna be making money today because they did what it takes. They did it the right way. They didn't rush.
Yep.
So that needs to be taught from the beginning.
Yep.
CDL is gonna take 6 months to get. You want to get your own company, you got to take something or do something, or some type of certificate that shows that you understand the business. Not teaching you how to do it right, that you understand the business.
Yeah.
You got to have these things, because what that's going to do is going to make you work. Now I know to be successful in this industry, I got to work. Instead of you trying to come to that thought process when you're in the truck and you losing money, now you're like, I got to work. I'm losing money. I'm about to go broke. No, it should be ingrained into you from the beginning. It took me 6 months to get my CDL. Okay, cool. Now it took me another 3 or 4 months just to get the paperwork and the certificate, just so I can start my own company. So I can so that course can teach me the downfalls. How can I lose? How do people go wrong? If you know that stuff before, now you're gonna be like, okay, cool. Education on a lease purchase program. What should I look out for? How are these scams? People get into these things because they don't know. That's what it is.
I talked to a lease driver. I talked to a few lease drivers that didn't even know that. Guess what? They had to set up not just a business account, but a payroll, and they had to pay their own self. They didn't even know. So by the time you do your taxes, and then I heard an internet guru. It's a guy in Atlanta. Of course, Atlanta's always the home of scammers. But I heard a guru, and y'all know who he is too. Very, very, very popular. But he sells courses and stuff like that. Not even sell courses. He does it here on Instagram and stuff too. Talking about people don't know payroll. People don't know TMS system. If the entry of barrier was higher, people would know that stuff.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
you have people like him that get popular on this type of education and then sells it to other people.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to be, it needs to be a mandate to where you're just not getting it from anybody that just says it. You're getting it from people, national accredited, whatever. Like they do this for all these other industries. But if you look at our industry, you're like, man, or out of all the industries and out of the most dangerous industry, it's the easiest to get into. Where they do that at?
You know what I will say, Marcus? You know what I will say though? I can lean towards your side a little bit more because in insurance, to be an
I got him leaning.
with being insurance advisor, you have to be an insurance agent for like 3 to 5 years. So it's called it's called insurance guru. So you can't even go online and call yourself a guru if you haven't had your license. That, and I can agree with that. I can agree with
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to take money out of nobody's pockets. I'm actually trying to put money in people's pockets. I'm already in the game, and I did everything it takes, and I'm running my ship right. But then Joe Blow gets over here from a different country, and he can create a company. He can do everything I can do like that, and he can come in there and say he's taking $3 a month. I'm taking $1.50. That's not right.
Right.
So the reason why that is so is because anybody can get into the industry fast. Slow it down a little bit. Make people work. Make people get in. Because now the people that's in it, you're more valuable.
I would lean to more of this. I think we need a real solidified truckers union. Because that'd be better than any kind of. Cause that'll be the union can mandate these kind of requirements.
This is what I got to say to that, to the truckers union. Because we talk about that. We do have a truckers union. I'm gonna put it out there. CDL for president for sure.
For sure.
Hey, I appreciate that.
But this is what I'll say with the truckers union. You'll have a truckers union when you implement these things first, and then now the guys that's making the money and that did the hard work, they're gonna have a union to protect what they have. Because now I'm in a position, I'm making money, I'm doing everything the right way. Now let's create a union, and now we'll keep them people from getting in so easy. See, right now we can't create a union. I don't believe in a union right now because everybody's so scarce. It needs to be the haves and the have-nots.
I like that.
Because when you have the haves, the people that got this, you got this stuff. So now these people can't get in so easy, but we've already did it. Now we're going to create a union. We're going to fund it. And now we're going to keep the regulations better and continue to keep it better for the people that's already in the industry. But right now, I don't believe in a union right now because there's too many people that's too far apart. It won't work.
It's too many people that's too far apart, number one. And then number two, when I tried to talk about it the first go around, a lot of truckers are scared based off of what Jimmy Hoffa did. Jimmy Hoffa had the very first ever truckers union, which was powerful, but he was taking the dues and he was funneling it through the mafia.
Correct.
And then when a lot of truckers came time to get some things done, or it came time for retirement and stuff like that, they had no money because guess what? A lot of it went to Vegas. So when we talk truckers union, a lot of truckers are scared of it, and we got to figure out how can we get them unscared, but also how can we get people to come together. And then the Teamsters, they got their unions, but their unions with companies, because I try to join, but you have to be with a company that's teamed up with Teamsters. So we have to have a company for everybody. I mean, we have to have a union for all truckers.
So you have to, like I was saying, you have to look at it. The Teamsters is the haves and have-nots.
Yes.
UPS drivers, right?
Oh, I like that.
Let's say UPS, right? Real quick, and we got to close. UPS is the haves and have-nots. Everybody can't get a job with UPS. It's right to get a job with UPS.
You're right.
They got so many stipulations. Those to get those driver jobs, that's not I'm gonna apply and get hired tomorrow. Those jobs take years to get. Because why? They're valuable.
Right.
Valuable job. And now we have a union to protect our job.
Correct. 100%.
That's why you have a union. You get to the point of value. I'm a trucker. These guys can't get into it as easy as we can. Now we're going to have a union to make sure it stays that way. And now we have a union to fight for our rights.
Right.
So you can't have a union until your job is valuable. Right now,
Correct.
trucking is not a valuable job.
Oh, I like that. I like that you said that
So
on that.
make it
I like
valuable
that.
first, then you have a union. If trucking was valuable, the Teamsters would be on it. They'll be
You
like,
know,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
'cause we see the regulations. We see anybody can't get in it. Oh yeah. We Teamster, we truckers, because they see trucking is valuable. So the reason why we
So
don't
bring back the value.
bring back the value for truckers, make the stipulations a little harder to get into trucking, and now you have value. Now the
I
Teamsters
love it.
come knocking on your door. Hey, I'm working with all the truck. All the truckers come join Teamsters because we
I
now we
love it.
get
I
you because
love it.
now we know you're valuable.
and
You have to
and
I
create
love it.
value.
and you simultaneously is making trucking great again, baby.
Okay, so on that point, okay, I gotta get the heck out of here.
Hey,
Let's do to end this, let's do one survival trip for this week, whatever you want to talk about, but just quick. So Alante, what do you give the trucking community or truckers or anybody, what is a survival tip you give them to think about or to work on this week?
I'm gonna let it flow. I have to base this on my personal experience, and I'm making sure I'm a faith-based entrepreneur. So I would just say, man, it's my survival tip is just keep God first.
Yeah, I like
That's
it.
my survival tip. Keep God first. And after
mm,
that, look at your budget and manage accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
What you got, CDL?
I would just say, um, up your education. Up your education. Always continue to learn. Always be eager to learn. Never think that you are better than anybody and that you're above anybody. Every day, there's always something to learn in this world
Right,
and this industry.
right.
That's it.
Okay. um, so my survival tip for this week to close it out is know your worth.
Mm,
The trucker, owner operator, trucking customer, know your worth. Okay. Truckers need to know their worth and you got to become valuable, like we talked about.
hmm
Create value for yourself. Be valuable in this industry. Know your worth. Know why
mm,
you're doing this. What is your why? Why are you doing this? And then give yourself some value, give yourself some worth. A lot of truckers are in this industry just to be trucking and don't have no guidance, don't know what they are worth, they don't know their value. And frankly, that's messing up the industry
yes.
because you don't know your value. You're not providing any value. Just because you put your foot on that wheel or put your foot on that pedal, you're worth more than that. So be more.
Yes.
Want more
Yes.
for yourself. Want more from your company. Want more for your industry to put more money in your pocket.
Right.
You care more and you know your value and you know your worth, then you're going to make more money. But it starts with you.
That's right.
If you're losing money, if you don't have money, it's you. If you're making money, it's you. So know your worth, have your why, and then once you know that, make the industry better.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Make it great again, baby. Make it great
Make
again.
trucking great again. This is a Freight
That's
Friday
right.
episode. I don't know what episode number this is. Maybe 8, 9. I don't know.
Yeah, eight. I think it's eight.
Episode 8. But we just want to tell you guys, man, just thanks for tuning in. We're going to have the links for everything below: insurance, the survival playbook, CDL, whatever he got. It's all going to be down there. Follow us on Instagram at Freight Fridays, at
That's right.
Expert, at AB Jackson 28, at Mr. Marcus Lewis. Thanks for all the love. We're gonna keep it pushing. We just doing this to help you guys. This is a long episode, but it's gonna be great. A lot of clips. And we're just gonna go from there. And we out.
We out. Love y'all.
Yeah. We out.
Peace
Love.
out, brothers.